place to be since I was 19. You can find me, maroon and white tee. Stay grinding, you're not on my team to get behind me and stay behind. You will play behind. Man, I'm in a Mississippi state of mind, and this state of mind ain't a greater time. Take a break in line and just take what's mine. It's an our state, our place, and you can see that it's written on our face. This is our break, our race, and if you ain't with it, get out of our way. Now stand up in your seat, sling a cowbell to the beat. Got 3-6 on my cheek, my boy and B gonna rest in peace. We just left it being in cowbell to the wind, and this maroon and white is blending like I'm Two-Face, Harvey Dent. And my friends up in the tent, and you know they miss a sip, and we coming for your hearts. So before we start, gonna put a stint in. My state of mind is a place for these dime rhymes to mint, and if you cross the line, that's the place that they're gonna be spent in. I'm looking at the Mississippi women, and the district got me grinning. You step up in the pen, man, you probably gon' get
MSU, and we about to roll, and everywhere we go, we taking control. We MSU, and when that whistle blow, you already know that we gon' show. 'Cause we MSU, and we about to roll, and everywhere we go, we taking control. We MSU, and when that whistle blow, you already know that we gon' show. 'Cause we
up the star, Vegas. We got that bar, baby. And all ladies breaking hearts, they call it sharp baiting. That identity, some crisis left you lifeless like your sparks. They need to decide who y'all move side, 'cause this state is ours, baby. Star crazy coming to pound, man. We drooling. You looking like a new kid in town. You gon' get bullied. You better draw back, bruh. We on the attack, bruh. We dogs of war, we coming forward. You can see that it's written on the dog tag.
And we ain't listening to what you think we gon' do, 'cause either way we coming for you. And it don't matter how we do, we gonna stay true.
'Cause that's true, maroon, and that's through and through.
'Cause from that M-I-S-S-I,
Now stay from the stands with a plate and my hand full of cheese fries.
S-S-I.
'Cause I beat me, you know that we believe. Hit the street when we're ready, check me.
Baby, come back. Any kind of fool could say there was something in everything about you. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong, and I just can't live without you.
Welcome into the Bulldog Student Sports Network, and welcome to News Park. It's Mississippi State and Ole Miss in the SEC conference finale here in Starkville, Mississippi. It's Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Mississippi State coming in at 35-15 and 11-10 in the Southeastern Conference. Ole Miss 34-14 and 10-11 in the Southeastern Conference. Ole Miss number 17 in the country. Mississippi State number 18 in the country. First time these two teams have met, and they've both been in the top 25. A little series history. Mississippi State leads the overall series 48 games to 34. Mississippi State 26-10 here at News Park. The last series was March 8th through 10th last year. State won in Oxford 2-3. So Mississippi State won last year, has won over the past couple of years against Ole Miss, and looks to continue that today. I'm alongside Zach Sizemore. I'm Ty Goldman. And welcome in to the pregame show here, Mississippi State and Ole Miss. So, Zach, I want to talk with you now. Let's talk a little bit about pitching for Mississippi State. How important is that going to be today for the Bulldogs outside of Raylan Chafin, who's been the dominant factor for the Dogs this year?
Well, it's going to be super important. You kind of look at the stats of the two main pitchers that we see, Raylan Chafin and Delaney Everett. Overall, Raylan Chafin has a 2.5 ERA, whereas Everett has a 2.97, and that's out of all games this season. But you look over to just the SEC games alone, Chafin has a 3.72 ERA, and Everett has a 6.89. So we need somebody besides Chafin to step up, whether that's Everett, Sosa, Marin, Sarah Phillips. We've seen a bit of her throughout the season, but we need somebody up to step up and help back up Raylan Chafin this weekend.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Raylan Chafin pitched in 2 games for the Bulldogs last weekend against Tennessee, and those were 2 games that Mississippi State won. They won against Kentucky, not Tennessee. I'm thinking about Ole Miss, who they played last week, but those were 2 games that State won. State winning game 1 12-2, and then winning game 3 5-0. So 2 runs combined in 2 games pitched for Raylan Chafin, and then that game 2 was where it kind of fell apart for State. 14 runs for the Kentucky Wildcats, and all those pitchers that pitched in that game for State Delaney Everett, Josie Marin, and Lexi Sosa. So they've got to get going today. Let's talk a little bit about the offense for Mississippi State. I thought they did better last weekend with runners in scoring position, but Game 3 was a little bit of a struggle, even though they won the game 5-0. I think they only had one. I think they went 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position in that ball game. But let's talk about runners in scoring position for State, how important that's going to be, and also not leaving as many runners on base.
Well, I thought the third game against the Missouri series, I thought they figured it out because they did a pretty good job of scoring with runners on, not leaving many stranded, and then they carried that over into the first game. But as you said, sort of Game 2 and 3, they struggled. Game 2 against Kentucky, remind me of Game 2 against Missouri.
Yeah, Game 2, yeah. You're right. I mean, Kentucky just had a really, really good offensive ball game. I think they had 16 hits in that one. And State scored 8 runs, and they still did really well with runners in scoring position. It was a number over – they were hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position in that game, but Kentucky just had a great offensive ball game in that one. Talk a little bit about Ole Miss. Head coach Jamie Traxel. She has been here. This is her 5th season. And every season she has been at Ole Miss, the Rebels have been to the NCAA Regionals, and it doesn't look like they're going to miss this year either, as they got a chance to host just like Mississippi State does. But we'll get into the lineup here. First, I will give you Ole Miss's lineup for the ball game today. So batting first going to be the left fielder Jaden Pone. Batting second, the right fielder, Lair Boutte. Batting third, the designated player, Aaliyah Benford, batting cleanup, the first baseman, Percy Yamas. Batting fifth, the catcher, Lexi Brady. Batting sixth, the second baseman, Mackenzie Pickens. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Ashton Lansell. Batting eighth, going to be the shortstop, Angelina DeLeon. And batting ninth, going to be the center fielder, Taylor Maven. And they'll have Brianna Lopez in the circle today.
Yeah, Ty, good lineup there for the Ole Miss softball team. But for your Bulldogs of Mississippi State, batting first, as always, your center fielder, Sierra Sacco. Batting second, your third baseman, Nadia Barbary. Batting third, your shortstop, Kylie Edwards. Batting fourth, your second baseman, Morgan Stiles. Batting fifth, your designated player for the game, Jesse Blaine. Batting sixth, your left fielder, Morgan Bernardini. Batting seventh, behind the plate again, Ella Wesolowski. Batting eighth, your first baseman, Riley Hull, who kind of heated up this past weekend against Kentucky. Batting ninth, your right fielder, Kiara Sells. And then in the circle today for the Bulldogs, guess who? Raylan Chafin.
Yeah, it's Raylan Chafin, a 2.50 ERA on the season, 20-7, 36 appearances, 24 games started. This will be her 37th appearance and 25th game started. 154 innings pitched for State. Ton of strikeouts. Hitters are 230 against her, and the first hitter she'll face will be Jaden Pone.
Yeah, she's been a huge upside for the Bulldogs. A transfer from LSU. Didn't see much playing time there, but has seen a lot here and been fantastic, as we've said in the pregame.
Yeah, the first pitch is a called strike one, and first pitch at 7:03 here at News Park in Starkville, Mississippi. Should be a good series here. Both teams, like I mentioned, looking to host in the regionals. This will be an important series. Pone rips one over to Stiles at second base. It goes off of her and over in the dirt. It'll be a leadoff infield single for the Rebels.
Just kind of unlucky there for Stiles. Tad bit in that gray zone there where it bounced and just hit her in the shoulder. Just mistimed that. So who was that? That Pone was.
Yeah, Pone
gets things off started with a single here.
Pone has been great for Ole Miss this year, but now Lair Boutte will step in. Left-handed batter's box wearing number 24. First pitch to her will not catch the outside corner. Umpires for today are going to be behind home plate Ronald White and Stephen Gould at first. At second and third going to be Chris Neighbors. This pitch doesn't catch the outside corner either, so the count now 2-0.
Yeah, just a tad bit too high there for Chafin. Having a bit of trouble finding the zones with these first two pitches by Bateau. Bateau, she's been off and on this season for the, I guess, Hottie Toddies. Is that what their mascot is?
No, they're the Rebels.
The Rebels, okay.
Apparently, they got many.
I don't know what to call them anymore.
Now, that one was a strike to Boutte. 2-1 the count. Butte 17 for 53. That's 321 in conference play. She sends one into left center field, ranging over is Sacco and Bernardini, but Sacco will call off the left fielder and make the play for out number 1.
Sacco, good job eyeing that, tracking it down, and waves off left fielder Bernard. Oh my gosh, I'm stumbling on my words today, Ty. Bernardini out in left field.
So that'll bring up Benford for Ole Miss. Aaliyah Benford, traditionally a designated player this year. The first pitch to her going to miss high for a ball.
Yeah, Benford, she went 0 for 4 in the series finale versus Tennessee last weekend. She's a transfer from Baylor for Ole Miss.
Yeah, played at Baylor for 3 years. Hit and pitched at Baylor. And 1-0 misses high to her for ball 2. So a runner at first is Pone after a leadoff infield single caromed off the body of Morgan Stiles. So 1 out here in the top half of the first. Here's the 2-0 to Benford. Kind of sawed off and sent right to Kylie Edwards for out number 2. So a good job by Chafin, getting 2 outs after that tough play for Stiles, the first batter of the game. Good job by getting just 2 outs immediately after that.
Yeah, really good job. Just as I said, after it happened, very unfortunate for Stiles. Just kind of misjudged the bounce it took. It kind of bounced right before and then hit her shoulder.
Now this one's sent into left field by Yamas, and it is going to be caught for out number 3 by Morgan Bernardini. So after a leadoff infield single for Pone, Ole Miss goes 1-2-3 after that. And that'll take us to the bottom half of the first inning where it's 0-0 here in Starkville. What did you think about that job by Raylan Chafin after seeing that first hit of the ball game there?
Great response. But that's what she's good at. She's good at responding. Something doesn't go her way, she does her best to command the zone, and that's what she did there. Commanded the zone, and let's see if the Bulldogs can start off hot here, heading to the bottom of the first.
So Ole Miss going to go with Brianna Lopez. Now, Zach and I thought they would go with Miley Wachenio, who's been their ace this year, and granted, she's only a freshman, so it's just going to get better for Ole Miss, but they're going to go with Brianna Lopez tonight. Now, Lopez, a senior out of Riverside, California, and she was at Hawaii for her sophomore and freshman seasons and then was with Ole Miss last year, and obviously with Ole Miss this year. She's in the circle tonight, but this will be her 22nd appearance in her 9th game, started a 2.50 ERA. She's 10-3 on the season. It's gone 5 complete games. It's pitched 89 2/3 innings, 81 hits, 48 runs, 32 of those earned, 46 walks, and 79 strikeouts. Opponents are 231 against Lopez.
Yeah, this can be an interesting sort of first batter for her going up against Sierra Sacco. Sacco has batted leadoff in every game of her collegiate career so far, so 219 consecutive games, and she's reached safely in over 50% of her at-bats, or in her leadoff opportunities.
Yeah, she's just a great college softball player. It's actually given a golden ticket this week, Tuesday at the Mississippi State baseball game against Memphis, a golden ticket to the Professional Softball League draft, as well as her teammate Raylan Chafin. But just talking about Sago for now, yeah, she's been great in her college career, not just at Mississippi State, but at Louisiana Tech, and she'll step in now and try and get things started for Mississippi State. You know, State started off hot in all 3 of their games against Kentucky last weekend, scoring at least a run in each of those 3 ball games in the first inning.
Yeah, well, she's part of the reason why they lead the SEC in batting and just the SEC play. She is phenomenal when she's up to bat for the Bulldogs.
So first pitch to Sacco going to be in there for a called strike 1. Sacco with that average now at 471 on the season. She kind of check swings and puts it in fair territory, sent over to the third baseman Lansdale, and she'll make the play for out number 1.
That was really close, Ty. Just half an inch maybe the throw beats her there. She had it kind of stuttered in the box, she would have reached safely there. But not a bad way to start the game, in my opinion.
So Lansdale, a nice play over there at third base. Hadn't made very many errors this season. She doesn't make one there. That'll bring up Nadia Barbary. First pitch to Barbary is swung on and missed. An aggressive swing there from the Bulldog third baseman.
Barbary's kind of had an up and down season. I mean, she's batting .369 in the season. That's a really good batting average, but kind of up and down throughout conference play. She had one good game. I believe that was that game 3 against Missouri that was really good, and then game against Kentucky?
I'll tell you something that I know for sure is she had a really good series last weekend against Kentucky. Went 5 for 9 in the series with 2 home runs. Actually had 7 RBIs, which by far led the team last weekend. So she had a really good series, and she kind of started a little slow just in out-of-conference play, but has kept the fire going here throughout the back half of out-of-conference play and then on into conference play. She's been a solid hitter in the 2 spot for Mississippi State. Now we got a 2-1 count after 2 balls were thrown by Lopez. Lopez looks on her pitch comm wristband, and here's the pitch. Going to just miss the outside corner for a ball. So 3-1 the count. Super Bulldog weekend here in Starkville. Zach, you got softball, obviously. Baseball hosting Kentucky this weekend. Now here's the 3-1. Going to miss the outside corner, so it's a 1-out walk, and Barbary will trot on down to first base.
Yeah, good eye there. Just good patience as well. Just staying in the box, not biting at some of those off speed that drift, that start in the zone and then drift out. So just good composure there. Good eye as Kylie Edwards, who's been pretty darn hot these past couple series, is up to bat for the Bulldogs now.
Yeah, she had an okay series against Kentucky, 2 for 10. Did have a home run in that series. She has been good for Mississippi State, and it started to really pick up in conference play. First pitch to her, going to be in there for a called strike 1. But back to what I was talking about, Super Bulldog weekend, you got, obviously softball, baseball hosting Kentucky,
right.
Men's tennis hosting a NCAA tournament regional here, just a couple feet from behind us. And you also, tell you after this pitch, this one misses low, evens the count at 1-1. Is it national yet, or I'm just going to call it's the Wiener Dog race? Is it national because the only place it happens is in Starkville?
I think it's national.
We're gonna say it. We're gonna say it's national. It's the National Wiener Dog Race.
We'll have to do some research in between innings.
Yeah, in the Cotton District this weekend. So you got a big festival going on in the Cotton District this weekend. Should be fun to maneuver throughout Starkville this week.
Oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I mean, I'm planning on going to the race. Are you?
We'll see what happens. It would be funny to watch these little wiener dogs run around.
It would be fun. But I mean, we'll be at softball all weekend, so these kind folks listening to us will get to hear our wonderful voices all weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, always great is Ole Miss having a meeting in the circle here. But Super Bulldog weekend, I remember coming up here on a couple Super Bulldog weekends as a kid, and it's a little bit different this year because the spring game's not this weekend. Spring game I think was on Easter weekend, so that's a little bit different because the spring game was also always on Super Bulldog weekend. But still, just coming up here as a kid on Super Bulldog weekend, it's always so much fun, right? Always fun to be at the baseball games and stuff like that. Just being around Starkville when it's popping is really fun. And Starkville, a great small town and a great college town.
I mean, it was voted the best small town in the U.S. Just recently.
It was.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, and now it gets something different for us since we're students. It kind of marks the end of the spring semester, which is awesome.
So 1-1 was the count. Now it's 1-2 as Ole Miss broken from the circle and Lopez hurls a strike. Barbary at first base after a 1-out walk. Sacco grounded out to Lansdale at third base to start off the inning. Now Edwards sends this one into left center field, and Malvin ranges over to her left and makes the grab for out number 2.
Once again, almost kind of like a half swing, started chopping at it like a sword. You could tell she wasn't confident with that swing, but made pretty decent contact. I mean, it went almost probably about the edge of the logo out in center field?
It was about 5 steps from the warning track, so
yeah.
It wasn't a bad swing. But Morgan Stiles going to step in, and first pitch she sees the outside corner for a called strike 1. Styles also had a good series against Kentucky, 4 for 10 with 5 RBIs. Also reached base twice on a walk, and she's down quickly in the count 0-2 after a swing and a miss.
Those are just some really well-placed pitches there, catching the outside edge of the strike zone there. And, I mean, she's probably not happy with it, but umpire said so. Got to swing the bat.
This pitch off speed and misses in the dirt for ball 1. But, yeah, Lopez pitched in the Tennessee series for Ole Miss. Ole Miss lost that series 2-3. They took game 1 and then lost games 2 and 3. Styles chases this one up in the zone. It's hit over to Lansdale at third base, and she'll make her second play of the inning and ends the inning for the Ole Miss defense. So State able to get a runner on due to a walk. No hits in the inning, so no runs, no hits, no errors, and they leave Nadia Barbary on base, and that'll send us to the top half of the second inning. We're going to take a short break here and be back in just a moment for the top half of the second. It's Mississippi State 0, Ole Miss 0. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network.
It's always a good time. It's always a good time. Woke up on the right side of the bed. What's up with this Prince song inside my head? Hands up if you're down to get down tonight. 'Cause it's always a good time. Slept in all my clothes like I didn't care. Hopped into a cab, take me anywhere. I'm in if you're down to get down tonight. 'Cause it's always a good time.
Good morning and good night. I wake up at twilight.
It's gonna be alright. We don't even have to try. It's always a good time.
Back here on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network, Mississippi State 0, Ole Miss 0. Here in this rivalry series to end SEC play. SEC tournament coming up next week, correct?
Yeah, next week.
Next week. And this series, the result of this series also, determine, SEC seeding. It's so close between like spots 3 and spots 11.
Oh,
it's really jam-packed in a stacked SEC, so this will determine SEC tournament seeding as well, not only just NCAA regional stuff for both teams.
Well, I mean, both teams could finish as high as 4th or as low as 11 based on what happens here in Starkville and then around the SEC league. I mean, I have sort of like the bracket, and you want the 4 seed would be awesome for either of these teams. I mean, you get the first 2 round byes. Is that one? Was that miss for or gets in for strike 1? But yeah, that 4 seed would be really nice, and then the 11 seed. I mean, you're playing in the first round, so
yeah, big difference in that. So you want to do good in this series. Like Zach said, the first pitch to Brady was a strike, and now the second pitch going to miss off the inside corner for ball 1. Lexi Brady has played in all the SEC games this year for Ole Miss. A senior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That's a long way from Oxford, Mississippi.
just a tiny bit.
This pitch will catch the outside corner for strike 2. So 1-2 count on Brady. She's been with Ole Miss her entire college career. Last year, in the one game Ole Miss won in the series, she was the girl that hit a walk-off home run to beat Mississippi State. Now this pitch to her misses just outside. So 2-2 the count.
Yeah, that was that pitch missed way outside, but the fans were won because they thought she went, but they looked over to the first base umpire. I believe that's Stephen Gould. Yeah, Stephen Gould, and he's like, nope, she was fine, held up just enough.
2-2 pitch. It's going to miss low. Off-speed pitch from Chafin. And so now a full count to the leadoff batter for the Rebels.
Brady doing a good job of keeping that bat glued to the shoulder, just not going enough around to get that strike called against her.
Brady behind the plate tonight for Ole Miss. Here's the 3-2 to her, sent right back up where it came from in the center field for a leadoff single. So back-to-back innings, Ole Miss starts with a leadoff single, and that'll bring up Pickens for the Rebels.
I mean, that's what happens when you're able to keep fighting through, keep the bat on your shoulder. You're able to fight back, get a pitch you like, and just get one right between the gap between second and shortstop. And once again, as you said, lead off a single here in the top of the second.
So Mackenzie Pickens will step in. She's a freshman out of Flowery Branch, Georgia, and Buford High School.
Buford.
She smokes one in the center field, but right at Sierra Sacco for out number one, as she only had to move about 3 steps to her right for that one. But a hard hit ball.
Yeah, it was hard hit. You know what Buford reminds me of?
What's that?
Phineas and Ferb.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Dude, that's a good kid show.
Well, now stepping in is going to be Ashton Lansdale, senior third baseman. She swings and misses. First pitch she sees out of Marietta, Georgia. She's played 2 seasons with Ole Miss, played 2 seasons with FIU before Ole Miss. Here's the 0-1 to her. Swung on, sent over to Nadia Barbary. 5-4. No, not going to get the double play. Almost had a 5-4-3 right there. That was very close. Lansdale just beat it out at first base, but a good job from Barbary to at least get the lead out at second.
Yeah, she had a good enough jump. As soon as that ball hit the bat, she was gone. She took off like a lightning bolt and able to beat it by half a step. So good recognitions from her there, but she'll reach on that fielder's choice, as you said.
Angelina De Leon. Right. I apologize. Step in for Ole Miss. 2 outs in the inning and a runner at first. Trying to steal is Lansdale. She is tagged. She is safe.
That was close, but she got there just barely, able to get the fingertip there. Kylie Edwards kind of reacted a bit slower, so Wesolowski kind of threw it to where she was going to be instead of at the bag where she probably should have been.
It's one of those plays where if Lansdale's not off the bag, is off the bag a half a second later than what she was, she's out.
Oh, yeah.
An off-speed pitch going to miss for a ball, but I think you're going to say she check swung and went around.
Yes, she did. At least that's what second/third base umpire Chris Neighbors said.
So 1-1 the count on De Leon.
And that steal tie, that's not something you see very often against the Bulldogs, as that one falls in for strike 2. But Jesse Blaine and Ella Wesolowski, your 2 main catchers, they've combined to pick off a school record 8 runners this season. No other SEC team has picked off more than 2.
Yeah, the catchers have been really good for Mississippi State this season. That was a close play, too. Lansdale just had just enough speed to get there. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Just misses off the outside corner to De Leon for ball 2. So Deuces on the board, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the top half of the second. 0-0 the score. Lansdale at second base after stealing the bag. She reached on a fielder's choice. Here's the 2-2. In there for a called strike 3, and that'll in the top half of the second. Man, Raylan Chafin just dotted the inside corner right there, and there was nothing De Leon could do as she walks back to the dugout for out number 3.
Absolutely nothing, and that's her 174th strikeout of the year. That's just, phenomenal job from her. Let me pull up the stat real quick, but she has been great. She has been great for Mississippi State this year, and not only Mississippi State, but just in the entire country. As you got the strikeout number. Yeah, so she is 18th in the nation, 3rd in the SEC in strikeouts. So 173, pretty darn good, I would say. Yeah, I would say so. She's been one of the most, dominant Mississippi State pitchers for what's been a very, very, very long time. And her strikeouts per 7 innings is up there right at 8, pretty much, which is good for 45th in the nation, which is one of the top marks in the SEC. So she has been really good for Mississippi State this year. And but that strikeout will send us to the bottom half of the second. State's got 5, 6, and 7 due up, kind of the heart of the order here for State, Zach. Yeah, the heart of the order here is I believe it's Jessie Blaine. Yes, Blaine's going to be up. She was one of those hitters that you saw in the top of the order, but then she's kind of bumped down, jumped around throughout the entire season, trying to find that quote-unquote perfect spot for her to bat. But she's been able to bat pretty good. She had an so-so series against Missouri, and then Kentucky, she did pretty good.
Yeah, did all right. 2 for 8, so not bad, but had 3 RBIs in that series. Also walked 5 times.
Yeah.
So if you account the walks in at bats, then that would make her 7 for 13. If you want to account that, if our viewers can kind of and listeners can kind of understand the math there, but she reached base 7 times in that series, so that's pretty good. But that OBP, if we're just talking about reaching base, is at 493, which is one of the best on this team, and a 321 average. So she's been pretty good this year for Mississippi State, and especially been good behind the plate. She's a designated player today, but see what she can do at the plate here. As Brianna Lopez is still out in the circle for the Rebels. First pitch from Lopez going to miss for ball 1.
I love the shuffling around that Samantha Ricketts does. She kind of shuffles Blaine and Wesolowski, as you said, can use either of them in the designated player or catcher position because they're both great catchers and great hitters.
The 1-0 misses high as well from Lopez, so quick 2-0 count on the Bulldog leadoff hitter this inning.
I think I've seen maybe 2 fastballs from her so far.
Yeah, if she's she's really been trying to hit the fastballs on the outside corner. Now she goes off speed here and hits the outside corner, but she's really been trying to work on that outside corner against these Bulldog hitters.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, we saw in the first inning she's gotten a couple of those really close ones called in favor of her, just like there.
Yeah, gets another one right there on the outside corner. So quickly, just as quick as the count went 2-0, it's gone to 2-2. So Blaine going to have to be defensive here. Here's a 2-2. This one hits softly right in front of the circle. Lopez will field it, turn around, and throw it to first base to Yamas for out number 1.
Everybody paused there. They were so confused. It just hit the bat, and then it went fair. And I mean, you could see Blaine. She thought it was going to roll foul, but it didn't. So she had to take off and try and beat it out. But once again, late reaction there.
So Morgan Bernardini will step in, a junior out of Elkville, Illinois, has seen her most playing time this year. Went 1 for 8 in the series against Kentucky, a 321 hitter on the season. First pitch to her is off speed and in there for strike 1. So the off speed kind of working for Brianna Lopez is kind of drawing the Bulldog hitters a little off balance.
Yeah, I mean, that's 6 straight off speed pitches. Let's see if she'll make it 7, but I mean, it's working for her so far.
She picks up the pace here and goes with a strike on the outside corner. 0-2 now the count. But Lopez, sorry to cut you off there, Zach, but, Lopez didn't pitch bad in the loss that she was given in Game 2. Only gave up 1 earned run. It was 2 total while she was in. As she gets Morgan Bernardini to swing and miss. So 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the second for the Rebels. But, Lopez didn't do very bad pitching-wise in that Game 2 loss. Had 8 strikeouts in that game. So, it had 2 walks and gave up a couple of hits, but, not like she did terrible in that game and that Tennessee hitters were just smoking the ball. I mean, I thought she just pitched well. She just kind of got unlucky a little bit.
Yeah, just Tennessee was seeing the ball really well, something that you, as a pitcher, you've got to be okay with. Every pitcher has that game. I mean, the Bulldogs had it against Missouri and Kentucky. The Wildcats and the Tigers were both seeing it really well, and unlucky for her, the Volunteers, the Lady Vols were.
So now the count 1-1. A ball on the first pitch and a strike on this one to Ella Wesolowski, who's catching for State tonight. Average at 230 for the Bulldog catcher.
Yeah, she got hurt after that Texas Tech win.
This one will be sent in the center field for out number 3. So a quick inning, 1-2-3, ground out, strikeout, fly out for Ole Miss. And it's quick work for Brianna Lopez. Good if you're an Ole Miss fan, but if you're a State fan, you hope you see Raylan Chafin do the same thing here.
This is exactly playing out exactly how I imagined it. It's a defensive game. Both of these teams are really electric offensively, but have dominant pitchers and figured it would take a first couple innings to really get anything going. Ole Miss has 2 hits, the Bulldogs have none, but it's gonna be a fun game, that's for sure.
It most definitely should be, but Raylan Chafin still obviously in the circle for state. But the Bulldogs, just like the Rebels, but we're a Mississippi State channel, so we'll talk about Mississippi State. Mississippi State needs this series win this weekend, as we've mentioned before, not only for SEC tournament seeding, but to host a regional. And that's something that State has never done. They've never hosted a regional. They hosted a super regional, but they have never hosted a regional here at News Park. And, if State were to finish or win at least 2, I believe, I'll make sure I'm doing the math right. Yeah, if State were to win 2 out of 3 this weekend, it'd be the first time since 2001 that they finished over 500 in the SEC. So, that would be really good for what Coach Samantha Ricketts is building here in Starkville.
Well, not only is it an important game for that, but it's a historic game as well, because this is the first time in series history that both of these teams have been ranked in the NFCA poll when they played. So if that shows you how tight this series is going to be and what's on the line and just sort of what to expect, I don't know what else will.
I mean, these are 2 good teams. Their records look very similar. State's played 2 more games than Ole Miss has, but Ole Miss at 34-14 and State at 35-15, and they're just a 1-game difference in conference record, with Ole Miss at 10-11, State at 11-10. So these are 2 very similar teams. State sitting at 9th in the SEC.
Tied 7th.
Tied for 7th in the SEC. And Ole Miss at that 11 mark in the SEC. So both teams, really, really close to each other. But I just want to read you the SEC standings, and so y'all understand how close this is going to be this weekend, how important this series is. So we'll start at just 4. We'll start at 4 on the list, not counting the tied stuff. You've got Arkansas and Florida both at 12-9, then LSU, South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Alabama at 11-10, and then Ole Miss at 10-11. That is the big hodgepodge of teams right in the middle of the SEC. So that's how important this weekend is for Mississippi State and Ole Miss.
Well, I mean, the fact as well that if Texas somehow loses every game this weekend against Kentucky and Mississippi State sweeps Ole Miss, they jump up above Texas, who's 13-8. But it's just there is no room for error here. Every win throughout the season matters for both of these teams.
Taylor Malvin going to step in for Ole Miss to start the top half of the 3rd. She swung at the first pitch and fouled it back to the netting. And now Chafin will call time. Got to fix the pitch comm on her wrist. But Malvin started and played in all the SEC games this season for Ole Miss. On the season, she's a 3.06 average. They scored 40 runs for Ole Miss, which leads the team, and also has walked 25 times, which leads the team. But something that she's close to now, as this pitch is in there for a called strike 2, she's close to a strikeout, and she actually leads the team in striking out the most. Struck out 26 times for the Rebels.
Yeah, going back to that, just sort of the standing and stuff, one thing I want to point out. So you looking at the Bulldogs' record and just sort of the games as that one's fouled off as Malvin stays alive with a 1-2 count. But so you look at the schedule, and they dropped a game against Missouri, dropped a game against Kentucky, unable to win one against Oklahoma. If you're able to not drop the game against Missouri or Kentucky and win at least one against Oklahoma, instead of being 11-10, you're going to be 13-8. And you'd be tied with Texas, as that one is fouled again.
It misses outside,
sorry.
missed outside for a ball. Yeah, to your point, yeah, I mean, it really is a game of inches. I mean, State has been so close, and they were really close to against Oklahoma, had chances to win all 3 of those. Lost 4-0 in game 1, 6-5 in game 2, and 9-6 in game 3. So, we're pretty much in those games the entire time, as this one misses to Malvin and the count 2-2. But pretty much in those games, even though you get swept, you go back and look at it, you had a chance to win maybe all 3 of them. Tennessee, you took a game from Tennessee on the road. So, this State's a really good team. Who just, had a couple that they've dropped that's, kind of been unfortunate for the Bulldogs is That's going to be a ball. It should be ball 3, and I don't
Yeah.
know why she's taking first base.
I think home plate umpire Ronald White got a bit confused there, lost count, unfortunately, as she'll be told to come back. You still got one more pitch, at least one more pitch.
Yeah, she'll put her gear back on and head back to home plate. Yeah, you ain't going to get that one past us up here in the broadcast booth.
No, but going back as well, I mean, the Bulldogs have, you able to pull those out to be huge, but also Ole Miss, they lose the series against Kentucky 6-9. They lost 6-9, 1-1, 6-4, and then lost 2-4. Those would be huge wins for them, but it's just, I mean, it's been a common theme throughout the entire SEC, every sport, all year long.
She sends one right back to Raylan Chafin, and she really didn't even move. She kind of stood in her position that she was in after the pitch and reached up and grabbed that one out of the air and threw it over to first for out number 1.
She kind of just stood there, and then last second, almost like I got you, trying to, I don't know.
Oh, no, you're right. I mean, that's pretty much what she did is now going to be Jaden Poland going to step in. She had an infield single off the glove of Styles in her first plate appearance. And now an off-speed pitch that she sends right over to first base. Riley Hull gets it for out number 2. But, just one more time on talking about both of these teams with, how they've been in SEC play. Ole Miss has kind of had it to where they're able to get one from everybody, but have struggled to win a series. State's been able to win series. That's the plural of series. Win series and also at least take one from some of these bigger teams, that are ranked higher. Take Texas, for example. Take Tennessee. State's at least been able to take one from teams like that. And Ole Miss has, had a little bit more trouble taking series from other SEC teams this season.
Well, they've also just had trouble winning some of them that they should win. I'm going to say again, losing Kentucky, that one shouldn't, as that one gets catches the outside of the zone for strike 1.
Yeah, so a 1-1 count, but but like we mentioned, though, both teams round the same, and it's been a successful year for both of them. So 1-1 count, 2 outs in the inning. Off-speed pitch from Chafin does not catch the zone. State fans don't like that one. Don't know if I did either.
I don't know. I do my best to just kind of keep my mouth shut. I don't want to get in trouble for saying anything, but I don't know.
So 2-1 the count. Here it is from Chafin. That one, no question about it, is going to be a ball. That one in the dirt. So 3-1 count on Lair Boutte. Boutte, 368 hitter now after the 0-for-1 start to this game. She flew out to Bernardini in left field. And this will catch the outside corner for strike 2 to her, but flew out to Bernardini. She's a senior. Boutte is out of Riverside, California. Played for Houston her junior year, then played for Tennessee her sophomore and freshman seasons. Now in her first season at Ole Miss. And she reaches out and gets one off the end of the bat, but it's caught by Raylan Chafin. 2 great plays made by the Bulldog pitcher for out number 3.
That one almost surprised her there. She just reached up, felt something hit her gloves, closed it, looked down, was like, "Oh, hey, I caught it. I got me a little something."
That was a great catch right there, and that takes us to the bottom half of the third. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base, and the Rebels go 1-2-3 in the top half of the third inning. State will have Hull, Sells, and Sacco due up when we go to the bottom half of the third. We're going to take a short break here and be back with the bottom half of the third in just a moment. Mississippi State 0, Ole Miss 0. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network.
Freaked out, dropped my phone in the pool again. Checked out of my room, hit the ATM. Let's hang out if you're down to get down tonight.
time then.
Doesn't matter where, it's always a good time there.
Back here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network, Mississippi State 0, Ole Miss 0, as we're in the bottom half of the third inning. Riley Hull going to stand in and face Brianna Lopez of Ole Miss. First pitch to her, misses high out of the zone, 4-1.
So when we were calling the Missouri game, we both talked about how Riley Hull hadn't been the best hitter for the Bulldogs, but last weekend she heated up quite a bit, actually.
Yeah, she really did, as the 1-0 going to catch the zone for strike one. But yeah, and when I was going through the final, I know she had a good weekend because I kept up with the series. But when I was going through the cumulative stats from last weekend, as here's the 1-1, misses outside for ball two. But when I was going through it, I was like, good for her, because she struggled until last weekend. Went 6 for 12 in the series. And scored 4 runs for Mississippi State, so had a really good series for State.
Yeah, when I saw it, I said, it's about time. She needed it. She really needed it.
She takes this one in the zone for strike two, so 2-2 the count. So that average is now bumped up to 236. It's sitting at 227 in conference play. She waves at this one and misses for strike three, so she starts off her night with the strikeout, and that'll bring up the bottom of the order for MSU and Kiara Sells.
She was not happy with herself at all. You could tell she walked away. She was like, I should have kept the bat. I should have kept the bat on the shoulder. But
yeah, she kind of lunged out for that one, caught off guard by the off speed there. Kiara Sells will step in. Sells also had a good weekend last weekend, 4 for 8 in the series win over Kentucky, and she sends one down the line. A diving Lansdale will stop it, throw it over to first, not in time. So it's an infield single for Sells, and that'll give Mississippi State their first hit of the night.
that was a very athletic play there by Yamas. I mean, she did the full-on splits just to make sure that she caught that ball and not allow us Sells to advance to second.
Yeah, well, not just Yamas. I mean, talk about Lansdale, too, kind of laying out, getting the uniform dirty there, and at least giving the defense a chance there. So good effort by both of them, just not enough. So Sells will be at first base with one out, and that'll bring up the Bulldog leadoff hitter, Sierra Sacco. First pitch to her, going to miss low, 4-1.
Yeah, Sacco had that kind of weird ground out back to start things off in the bottom of the first. It was sort of that like quarter. It wasn't even like a half of a swing. It was like a quarter of a swing.
Yeah, a little check swing, soft grounder sent over to Lansdale, and that was how she was retired in her first at bat. Now she takes this 1-0 for a strike, so 1-1 the count. Sacco with a .468 average on the season. Top of the SEC in a lot of offensive categories. Leads state in a lot of categories as well. She takes this off-speed pitch in foul territory, and it'll get out of play for strike two.
You want to know how good that? I mean, it's .468 now, but heading to before her first at bat, it was .471. So you want to know how good that is for the SEC and Nation?
What's that?
Second best in the SEC, and eighth best in the nation.
Yeah, she's just been really good this year for state. She stands in here with a 1-2 pitch. That's low and misses in the dirt to even the count up. Sells, remember, Kiara Sells at first base with an infield single. One out in the inning for the Bulldogs. 2-2 count on Sierra Sacco. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Good pitch on the outside corner. Got Lopez past Sacco there, and there's out number 2.
Yeah, once again, just you could tell she didn't want to really swing there, but she had to. When you're down in the count, you have to swing at some of those pitches.
Yeah, you got to protect the zone right there, and that's just a well-executed pitch. And that'll bring up Nadia Barbary with 2 outs in the inning for state.
I'm starting to see why they put Lopez in here for the first game. Now, as you said, we thought it was going to be
we thought it was going to be their ace. Thought it was going to be their ace in Miley Wachenio.
Yes.
But he went with Brianna Lopez, and she's done good so far for Ole Miss. Barbary fouls this one back and quickly, now the count 1-1, not quite 0-2 yet. So 1-1 the count. But yet Lopez has been good for State. Barbary walked in the first inning, trying to continue and ride the momentum off of last weekend where she had 2 home runs in the series win against Kentucky. Here's the 1-1. Misses in the dirt low for ball 2. Two outs in the inning. Bottom half of the third. Scoreless here in Starkville. In this rivalry matchup here in Super Bulldog weekend. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Misses low. That Sells almost got caught in a pickle there. Catcher Brady behind home plate kind of bobbled that a little bit but kept it in front of her. Sells was trying to offer to go to second base but ended up getting back. Brady didn't throw back.
Yeah, Sells not one of those players that steals a lot. Has only attempted 6 stolen bases, stolen all 6 of the attempts as she goes here.
She is safe on that one, but I don't think it really mattered because Barbary walked, so she would have gotten second anyway. So runners at first and second for Kylie Edwards.
That had Barbary not walked, that one was close enough. I think the Ole Miss coaching staff would have challenged it.
I think you're right there. Now, the call was safe.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it doesn't matter because Barbary walked, but the call was safe, so you probably could have seen a challenge there if that was called a strike at the plate, but it wasn't. We've got runners at first and second for State with Kylie Edwards at the plate and 2 outs in the inning for the Bulldogs.
Good start. Or good end, I guess.
Edwards sends a hard one over to the shortstop, De Leon, and she'll throw it over and get the lead runner out at third base for out number 3. So a good job by Ole Miss, kind of escaping a little bit of danger here in the bottom half of the third. State threatening late in the inning with 2 outs, but unable to score. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base for the Bulldogs, and that'll take us to the top half of the 4th inning with Raylan Chafin still in the circle for Mississippi State.
I probably should have kept my mouth shut there.
What was saying? Good.
Yeah, just kind of good way to get going, but
It's okay.
oh well.
I'm not going to call it an announcer jinx. It's, all right.
It's not an announcer jinx. It's just I should just kept my mouth shut.
It's okay. Hey, it's all right.
Yeah, it gets the best of all
worry,
of us.
Don't worry about it, Zach. But so we're just waiting here for bottom half of the 4th, or excuse me, top half of the 4th to go on. Team's warming up, but didn't give you the uniforms for tonight. So a little uniform breakdown. Ole Miss in their navy tops with red Ole Miss written across the front. White pants. State in their white jerseys with maroon striping and over the shoulder, and Script State across the front with maroon pants and white side striping down the side. So good looks for both teams tonight. I'm sure we'll see Ole Miss break out the powder blues at some point this weekend.
I think that'd be a safe thing to say. I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd probably bet you $50 they'd pull out the powder blue.
Now, we're not supposed to like Ole Miss here at Mississippi State, but I will say their powder blues do look good. That is a good look. I will not hate on the powder blues. Even though I want to, I will not.
I sadly second that, Ty. There's just something about that powder blue that's pleasant to the eyes.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good.
I mean, not as good as our all whites for the softballs, the Lady Bulldogs here, but still pretty.
Yeah, it's
pretty
not
nice.
as pretty of a color as maroon.
No,
Not at all. Not at all.
Maroon takes the cake any day of the week.
So I guess we're waiting on TV to get done with commercials at the moment.
We got the so Samantha, actually it's Samantha Ricketts. So
Oh.
she is she's on the set with them, and she's got, I think that's, I can't tell who that is, but she's got 2 players next to her with cups and using them as binoculars.
Yeah, I saw that last week. They all stood behind her last
Yeah.
week at Kentucky, and Hail State softball posted that on X or Twitter,
Yeah,
whatever you want to say.
sort of like her own security guards or whatever. It's
Yeah, I saw that last week. So that's funny. But okay, so they're waiting on
okay.
Coach Ricketts to get done.
So it was Jesse Blaine and Paige Ernstis who were the ones doing the binoculars things. But I saw that as well, and I got a good kick out of that. sure we'll see something about that after the game, get a good laugh about that. But you got Aaliyah Binford up to bat for Ole Miss. She popped out in the first.
Yeah, she takes the first pitch for a strike. Yeah, Aaliyah Binford, we're number 4 for Ole Miss, senior on this team. That average now at 325 after the pop out. Here's the 0-1 to her. And it could be another pop out. This one's straight in the air. Going to be trouble over towards the state dugout. And it's going to get out of play and bounce into the stands. So 0-2 early on Binford. I didn't mention the field either. A little bit, they've got the script stayed out there in center field, maroon with white outline, but then they've got the numbers around the infield dirt for the seniors that were honored before the game.
Yeah, so
this one's sent into right field, back at the wall and gone. That's the first run of the game, and it comes at the hands and the swing of Aaliyah Binford. She sends it over the wall in right field, and Ole Miss takes a 1-0 lead.
only her 7th of the season. But going back to the seniors, so because of the SEC tournament and just sort of how softball postseason works, unfortunately the senior managers for the softball team and the players themselves won't be able to make it to commencement or graduation this year, so they kind of did their own mini graduation before the game, which was cool to watch. But, yeah, the numbers just something you see some teams do to honor their seniors and all the hard work and dedication they put for the program. And we're grateful for them.
Binford, though, sends one over the wall to get the scoring started here in the ball game. So 1-0 Ole Miss. And now Percy Yamas will step in, first baseman for Ole Miss. She flew out in her first plate appearance. First pitch to her, going to miss outside for ball 1.
Yeah, and Binford, going back to that home run, she was kind of in a not good stance. She was down 0-2, but got a pitch she liked. Normally you see pitchers pitching away, sort of out of the zone, but Chafin decided to keep it close and in the zone as that one catches for strike 1 on the inside corner. But she kept it near the zone, and Binford was like, heck yeah, I'm going to take this yard.
Now that's something that, Chafin has struggled with a little bit. I was like, here's the 1-1 pitch, misses outside for ball 2, so 2-1 the count. But that's something that Chafin has struggled with a little bit, is the extra base hits and giving up so many of those and home runs. She's given up a lot of those this season, and that's been, kind of her issue.
Her Achilles heel.
Yeah. And that's, she's just given up a lot of extra base hits this year. This one fouled back, so 2-2 the count. Nobody out in the inning after a Binford home run to right field.
But I will say those extra base hits are, I'd say probably 99% of them are coming in SEC play, and it's expected. The SEC is a gauntlet, as we were talking about earlier, just how close it is, but it's expected. And it's unfortunate to see, but she does a good job of bouncing back every single time.
She goes after Yamas here, saws her off, but in the foul territory, so that'll keep the count at 2-2.
Yamas got lucky, just enough spin that it tailed left foul. And she'll stay alive with that 2-2 count with a 1-0 lead and no outs here in the top of the 4th.
So here is the 2-2 pitch. Misses off the outside corner for a ball, so full count now on Yamas. Yamas, another freshman for this Rebel roster. Eastvale, California. Number 30 recruit in the class coming out last year. She sends one to the pull side into right field for a base hit. Sells will pick it up, throw it into the cutoff Styles, and so Ole Miss with back-to-back hits, one of being a home run and this one being a single, and the Rebels trying to tack on some more runs here in the top half of the 4th.
Yeah, just got really lucky there, able to sneak it between first baseman Hull, second baseman Styles. Styles, she was kind of playing more towards second base, it felt like there, so a little bit more space, but we'll have a pinch runner for Ole Miss. I can't tell who that is.
Yeah, it's going to be number 10, Star Ferguson, who's going to pinch run, a senior outfielder out of Sugar Land, Texas for Ole Miss. She will pinch hit for the Rebels. She only had one at bat last weekend against Tennessee, and that series ended with a strikeout. Has pinch run a lot for Ole Miss this year. Did play at A&M for all of the years prior before coming here, or coming to Ole Miss. Brady, who is in the box, sends this one into shallow right field, and it drops. A tough play from Morgan Stiles and Kiara Sales. A bloop single drops. That's another base hit for the Rebels. Runners at first and second. As Ferguson, was kind of halfway on that one.
Yeah, I think Styles kind of got distracted there, thinking too far ahead about, hey, as soon as I catch this, I've got to throw it back to first. But it looks like, what did they just call here, Ty?
So they're going to call Ferguson out. I think she might have left first base too early. I think that's exactly what happened. Now, Ole Miss might challenge this, but I think, and yeah, they are going to challenge this, but the call on the field is that Ferguson left first base too early, so she's going to be out. But here's the official wording from the umpire here. Ooh. And he tested the mic, and it was a little echoey. All right, so they will review this in Birmingham and get back to us here in Starkville. So Ole Miss challenging that the runner did not leave early. The call on the field is that she did. And this will be big for State, keeping a runner out of scoring position here. Maybe give that defense and Raylan Chafin a little bit of momentum. They can see an out on the board.
Also give Morgan Stiles a break. Just another unfortunate play after the leadoff hit for Ole Miss back in the top of the first. But going back to what I was saying before we got the announcement, but I think what happened for Stiles there was she got a bit distracted. It's kind of like in football. Receiver, they see the ball coming towards them, and like instead of catching it and then getting ready to turn upfield for her, she was thinking about, okay, I got to throw this back to first base, try and beat out her tagging up, and it kind of took her mind off of it.
So the call is upheld. Ole Miss loses a challenge. They have one remaining in the ball game. And so instead of it being runners at first and second with nobody out, it's actually, I believe, going to send Brady back into the box with an 0-0 count. Or excuse me, it might be an 0-1 count. Or 0-0. Yeah, there wouldn't be a pitch there in that situation. So an 0-0 count on Brady. We'll just restart things without a runner on base and with an out added to the board. Brady singled up the middle in the first inning. And she'll take the technically the second pitch she's seen this at bat, but the first that'll be registered for a ball on the inside corner.
Yeah, just not something you see like pretty much ever here in college softball, as she fouls this one straight back into the netting.
Yep, so that'll even up the count.
But it's just, I was a bit confused. I'm still learning softball. I've gotten a lot better, but still learning some of the hand signals and calls. Ty, you're much more knowledgeable than I am.
Here's the 1-1. And check swing, she barely went, but it actually hit her bat and is fouled off. So now 1-2 is the count. Now Brady leads the team in home runs with 15. She has been the power hitter this season for Ole Miss, a .795 slugging percentage coming into the series. Average has jumped from 342 coming in, now 347 with the leadoff single she had. She barely offers at this one, and it's not going to be she didn't go around at all, so it'll be a ball. So 2-2 the count.
But as you were saying, Brady, she's comes in one of the hottest hitters in the SEC. She's hit 14 home runs in her last 34 games. But she started the season 0 for 11. Since then, she's hit 377. So with the 0 for 11, that's why she's batting 347, as that one misses inside. But she's hit 15 home runs since starting 0 for 11. Just
Yeah, she's
Tremendous fight. Sorry,
yeah.
Ty.
No, you're good. A lot of power in her bat. So a full count now. Chafin trying to avoid throwing her first walk. Brady rips this one, but caught. A diving play by Morgan Stiles. It was ripped right back up the middle. Kind of slowed down as it hit the Mississippi air. And Stiles was able to dive for that one and grab it for out number 2.
That's how you bounce back, Ty. That right there, after 2 unfortunate plays, one of them you get a break from because the runner left early, but that's how you bounce back, making a tremendous dive and catch for out number 2. Just Morgan Stiles, she's a phenomenal player. Glad Coach Ricketts has grabbed her.
Yeah, glad she's playing as much as she is this season. That'll bring up Mackenzie Pickens for Ole Miss. She lined out to Sacco in center field. That was a hard line drive she hit in her first at bat.
Hard, but I mean,
Caught.
Sacco didn't have to move.
Yeah, didn't have to move really. Only took about 2 steps. So 1-1 the count on her after a first pitch strike and then a ball. Here's the pitch to Pickens. Off speed in there, strike 2. Pickens, just a freshman. And we mentioned she went to Buford High School.
Phineas and Ferb, baby.
Set the career home run and RBI record at Buford. They went 32-0 last year.
Really?
32-0 last year.
Crazy.
Now she swings and misses here for strike number 3, the second strikeout of the evening for Raylan Chafin. And that'll end the top half of the 4th inning here at News Park. But Ole Miss with 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, nobody left on base. It was that home run that really that gave Ole Miss the only run in the ball game so far. Leah Benford with the home run to right field. It's 1-0 Ole Miss over Mississippi State. We'll go to the bottom half of the 4th, but before that, we'll take a short break on the Bulldog Student Sports Network. 1-0 Ole Miss over MSU. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network.
You got a lot of nerve, don't you, baby? I only hit the curb 'cause you made me. You're telling all your friends that I'm crazy, like I'm the only one. Why'd you throw them stones if you had a wild hell you wanted to? Living in your big glass house with the view. I thought you knew I had some help. It ain't like I can make this kind of mess all by myself. Don't act like you ain't helped me pull that bottle off the shelf. Been deep in every weekend, if you couldn't tell. They say teamwork makes the dream work. Hell, I had some help. You thought I'd take the blame for us crumbling.
Back here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network, Ole Miss leading your Mississippi State Bulldogs 1-0 as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. 4, 5, 6 due up for State. Stiles, Blaine, and Bernardini, with Brianna Lopez still out in the circle for Ole Miss. Sun is most definitely set here in Starkville. And we're going to get time called. Had something going on in the dugout. I didn't see it, so play in just a moment. But sun is definitely set here in Starkville. Not much wind. Had a little bit of rain earlier. It delayed the game by an hour. Here we are in the bottom half of the 4th, though. First pitch to Stiles going to miss up for ball 1.
Well, the rain was really weird, Ty, because the entire day here it was sunny, felt really good, and just it was nice, warm, almost a tad bit too hot. And then all of a sudden the clouds started rolling in. It started raining. We had the lightning delay, as you said, and then right before the sun started setting, before we had the first pitch, as that one catches the outside for strike 1, the sun cleared up and then sunset, or the rain cleared up, sunset, and now it's a pretty warm, beautiful night here in Starkville.
Yeah, a little humid, as always, in the state of Mississippi. Here's the 1-1 to Styles, sent off the netting foul over towards the camera over there over the first base dugout. So 1-2 the count. State needs to get going here. Still plenty of ball game left right in the middle of the game right now. But after that Ole Miss solo shot in the top of the fourth, State with a little bit of pressure on them now. Pitch misses low for ball 2. So 2-2 the count to Styles, the second baseman for State.
Yeah, just a little bit about Styles. So recently she's seen a spike in her batting average. She's been hitting .333 in SEC play. Before she started the season, 2 for 17. She's one of the freshmen that Ricketts picked up, as this one missed really high for ball 3. But she's been doing pretty good. She is tied for the team lead in home runs with 5, second in RBIs and slugging percentages, at least in conference play, that is.
Yeah, looking forward to her career here at Mississippi State, especially her being a freshman. Styles sends it towards the left side of De Leon, and she ranges to her left and makes the play for out number 1.
Once again, just half a step, the Bulldogs get beat out. Almost takes that half second for them to register, oh, I've got to drop the bat and take off.
Yeah, it's been really good defense from both teams so far in this game, but Ole Miss showing that defense, or defensive prowess at the moment. Good play from De Leon, and that'll bring up Jesse Blaine with 1 out in the inning. Here's the first pitch to her, in there for strike 1. Blaine grounded out back to Lopez in the second inning. Her first plate appearance is a little barely hit ball right in front of the circle to her.
That was another one of those kind of surprise hits for the Bulldogs. Almost didn't want to go, as that misses low for ball 1. Didn't want to go, but went just enough and hit the bat. And I thought it was foul for a second, but it wasn't. She had to take off, unable to beat the throw out.
So 1-1 the count on the Bulldog designated player for tonight. Here's the pitch to her. Misses high, ball 2. 2-1 the count. But Blaine out of Pike Road, Alabama. Spent 2 years at Auburn before she transferred here to Mississippi State, and has definitely made a difference here in Starkville.
She has, and she was one of the couple seniors recognized before the game.
3-1 now as that one misses high. Yeah, she was, like I said, one of the couple seniors recognized tonight. I had President Mark Keenum out here. A couple of other. We had Athletic Director Zach Selman out here. A couple other people to give her degree as she fouls this one back for strike 2. So full count now.
And we say a couple seniors. There were 6 total seniors recognized. A bit more than a couple, but yeah, she was one of them, as you said, and just it was great to be a part of and see that they get the recognition they deserve for all their hard work academically.
Yeah, had mostly players, but then a couple of staffers as well be recognized tonight. So here's the full count pitch to Jesse Blaine. Off speed, misses high. And the State crowd getting loud. Hopefully that helps the Bulldog bats wake up here. Only 1 hit as we are in the bottom of the 4th. We'll have at least Brady that'll go out and talk with her pitcher Lopez. Lexi Brady will leave her position behind the plate and go talk with her pitcher Brianna Lopez. And meanwhile, State will put a pinch runner in for Jesse Blaine. It'll be Kalani Sells who will come in and pinch run for Jesse Blaine. And Morgan Bernardini has a bat and will hit. So she struck out in her first plate appearance. Let's hope she can get something going here for State with 1 out in the inning. Trying to come back in this one, trailing Ole Miss by 1.
This is, as I said earlier, exactly what people expected, and we have a good showing tonight here at News Park. Probably the most packed I've seen the stadium this season. She fouls this one back. Now, I mean, it is a rivalry game. It is Super Bulldog weekend, senior weekend, so that adds up.
Yeah, so 0-1 after she fouls it back. But, yeah, one of the most packed time or one of the times.
One of the most packed this season.
Good one, Zach. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to
Yeah.
pick those words out of thin air.
Bernardini fouls this one again, so now the count quickly 0-2. But yeah, one of the most packed it's been this year at News Park, and one that I can remember that I was here. The game one against Auburn was really packed. So that's probably the last time it was really packed like this. Texas was packed as well.
Texas. I was about to say Texas.
Bernardini sends a ball into left center field, ranging over and making the play as Pone for out number 2.
I thought there was going to be a miscommunication there between Malvin and Pone. Malvin kind of backed off. Pone sort of stuttered step and then able to catch back up. Kind of held my breath there, hoping it would fall, but Pone able to recover and catch that for out number 2, as you said.
Yeah, thought that had a chance to drop, and it didn't, and that's good for Ole Miss. Bad for State. We'll give them 2 outs with Sells at first base, Kalani Sells, and Ella Wesolowski at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, there's no wind to either help carry it or help drop it. The flag is standing still.
Swing and a miss from Wesolowski. She might have tipped that one into the glove. It'll be a strike 1 anyway. Wesolowski, 2 for 10 in the Kentucky series, had a home run in that one. One of the 4 Bulldogs that homered, or one of the 3, that homered in that series for MSU. She takes this one outside for ball 1.
She started to come alive here the past 2 series, doing a pretty good job. I mean, we kind of mentioned this earlier back in the second when she was batting, but then she flew out. But she got hurt against Texas Tech, correct?
She sends one into right field. Back at the wall. Off the glove of Boutte. Rounding third is going to be Sells. The throw to the cutoff is cut off. And we have a 1-1 ball game. Wesolowski does her job, and Mississippi State has tied it with Ole Miss.
She got really, really lucky there. As we said before, no wind going towards the outfield to help carry it, but no wind coming in to stall it. So luckily enough, Boutte. Oh my gosh, I am struggling today, but she kind of fumbles at the tip of the glove.
Yeah, I mean, that one just, lucky she had enough juice on that one to get, out of the glove of Boutte. That's a tough play for Boutte with her back turned towards the plate and just straight up running towards the wall. I mean, that's a tough play, and it was a well-hit ball, and Wesolowski is rewarded for it.
It's a very, hard catch for her because not only you haven't thinking about, okay, I've got to catch this, but I don't want to slam into the wall, maybe hurt myself. So I believe there's a little something there as we'll have a pinch runner. It'll be, who is that?
It's going to be Greta Grassel.
Yes, Greta Grassel for Ella Wesolowski. But I'm just going to finish my thought about her real quick. So she got hurt against Texas Tech and then missed 15 games, came back and has filled in and sort of been that 1-2 punch behind the plate with Jessie Blaine so far. But this will be a good sort of at-bat here for Riley Hull, who heated up last weekend, as you talked about earlier, Ty. She needs this. This at-bat with 2 outs, a runner on second, all tied up here in the bottom of the 4th.
It'd be good for her to get a hit here, probably score a run for Mississippi State and give them the lead. First pitch to her, miss for a ball. Here's the 1-0. Just off the outside corner for ball 2. 2-0 the count. I tell you what, Zach, I hate that I have class tomorrow.
You got class tomorrow?
Yeah, it feels like a Friday.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Oh, you got class? You don't have class tomorrow?
No,
Must
I
be
don't.
nice, man. Here's the 2-0, and Hull a little bit out in front of that. She knows it. Fouled it back. So 2-1 the count.
I will say the nice thing is, though, Ty, classes are winding down. We've got 2 or 3 days left of classes.
Just 2.
Just 2. Well,
Yeah.
because, I guess because classes on Tuesday, some meet, most don't, but then the official reading day is Wednesday.
This one misses outside. 3-1 the count. Reading day's on Wednesday.
Because exams don't start till a week from today, Thursday. But yeah, classes are winding down, and then we'll be hitting summer here. I can't believe our first year here at State's already pretty much done with.
It's going to be a walk drawn by Riley Hull. That'll bring up Kiara Sells with a chance to extend or take the lead for Mississippi State. She had a single in her first plate appearance last inning.
Yeah. I mean, you would love to see a hit there, but a walk, that's the next best thing you can see. Get 2 runners on, and Kiara Sells, as we've mentioned in past broadcasts, but she is one that you love to have as your last hitter because she can draw walks, get a hit, and then she gets on base. Sierra Sacco comes, and she's your best hitter.
So Ole Miss going to have a meeting in the circle. Don't think they are looking towards the bullpen. It looks like there is movement in the pen, but I don't think they're going to go with a move yet. But, yeah, you talk about Sells in that 9 spot. She is a great hitter to have in that spot because of how efficient she's been and how she can just – if she most likely is going to get on base. You look at that on-base percentage, it's at .461, right? So almost half the time she's getting on base. So it's good to have that kind of hitter and that kind of on-base person in the bottom of the order so that you can flow up to your best hitters at the top of the order.
You know what blows my mind about that stat, Ty? .460. That's an absurd on-base percentage, but it's not even good enough for the top 50 in the nation for on-base percentage, which just blows my mind.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good players in college softball, especially in the SEC. It's wild in the SEC, but Sierra Sacco, if we can get to her, is one of those that is one of the best in the country. 14th in on-base percentage and 4th in the SEC with a .565 on-base percentage. She's in the on-deck circle now, but Kiara Sells is in the batter's box with runners at first and second, 2 out in the inning. First pitch to her, up and inside for ball 1.
But yeah, it just blows my mind that even though Sells gets on base over 46% of the time, it's just insane how good people like the SEC is and other players are in the nation with how good she is as well.
Sells fouls this one off the net to the right for strike 1. So 1-1 the count. Crowd getting a little rowdy here below us. Got some chants going. Had the maroon and white chant going.
That's a good chant, Ty.
Love that chant. Here's the 1-1. Low, ball 2. 2-1 the count. And Sacco, if she can get on base, and I'm sure she's thinking in the on-deck circle right now. There's not really a circle there, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
She's got to be ready to get in that box. 0 for 2 so far in the game, and then she's got to be wanting to get after this Ole Miss defense right now. Here's the 2-1 to Sells, and it misses outside for ball 3. So 3-1. Hitters count with 2 outs in the inning. Hull at first base and Grassel at second base. Pinch running for Ella Wesolowski, who had a RBI double to tie the game earlier in this half inning. Here's the 3-1. Sent over to third base. Lansdale will grab it and step on her bag for out number 3. So Ole Miss escapes damage here in the bottom half of the fourth. State leaves a couple more runners on base, but they are able to tie the ball game up. 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and 2 Bulldogs left on base. That's now 5 State players left on base for the ball game so far, and that'll send us to the top half of the 5th. Raylan Chafin still out in the circle, but we talked about that before the ball game, Zach. State got to keep that left on base number down, and it's over Ole Miss right now. Ole Miss with only 2 left on base, State with 5. State got to do a better job capitalizing with runners on.
Yeah, well, with runners on, they've, as you said, 5 for State, 2 for Ole Miss. But Ole Miss is 0 for 6 with runners on batting, and Mississippi State is 1 for 7. So both teams struggling. Just the Bulldogs, even though they only have 2 hits, Ole Miss has 4. They're getting batters on because of walks. And as you just said, as you mentioned in the pregame, as we get into the end of the season, this series, get into the SEC tournament, NCAA softball tournament, etc., you've got to capitalize. You have to. It is the most important thing to capitalize because runners on, that's how you score.
You're exactly right. Yeah, State 1 for 7 with runners on base and 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. So got to do a better job of capitalizing when we're able to get runners on. We got a cowbell race going on right now in the outfield. Zach, tell me who wins. I'm going with Maroon.
Yep, Maroon just kind of moonwalks back into the finish line there.
So Maroon wins the cowbell race here at News Park.
I think that's the first time I've seen it at softball. I've seen it at baseball all the time,
Yeah.
but first time at softball.
Yeah, probably same for me. I don't think I've seen it at softball yet. So
I guess they're pulling out all the stops because it is Super Bulldog weekend. I mean, you got to make it fun for the fans.
do have a fielding change. Bernardini was in left field. She's now moved to the DP, and Kalani Sells is now in left field for Mississippi State. So it's Kalani Sells in left, Sacco in center, Kiara Sells in right, Barbary at third, Edwards at short, Styles at second, Hull at first with Wesolowski behind the plate and Chafin in the circle.
Well, I don't even see Bernardini down there in the dugout, so something might be bothering her. I'm not sure, but I don't see her down there. Hope everything's okay.
Yeah, I hope so too. Might just have to go to the bathroom. As simple as that. So first pitch to Lansdale is a ball high. She grounded into a fielder's choice in her first plate appearance. And she kind of halfway offers at that, but it was a called strike anyway, so 1-1 the count. An interesting fact about Lansdale, she's a senior, but she did play JUCO. Now this will blow your mind. Ready?
Yeah.
She did play JUCO baseball at Georgia Highlands College. She was the first female to play baseball in JUCO.
You're not
First
pulling my
ever.
leg, are you?
No, first ever woman to play baseball in JUCO.
Well, congrats to her. That's an awesome achievement for her. And I mean, I haven't seen anything, but let's see. It'd be interesting to see as this series goes on how that kind of portrays or carries over into
Yeah.
softball.
2-1 count to her, but yeah, played baseball in JUCO, played it all 4 years in high school. She takes this one inside, just off the inside corner for ball 3, so 3-1 the count. But she's walked 12 times this year, 385 on base percentage, and after that fielder's choice in the first, now at 5 hits on 21 attempts in SEC play. She takes this one on the outside corner for strike 2.
Well, that last pitch, I don't know if you could hear it, but the fans kind of disagreed with that. But that's kind of been the story all night. Just a lot of these calls could have gone either way. Home plate umpire Ronald White calls them strikes that could have gone balls either way. So I'm expecting more of that. Fans should as well.
Swing and a miss from Lansdale. She is retired for the first out of the inning here in the top half of the 5th. So that'll bring up De Leon for Ole Miss. Angelina De Leon started every game she's played this season. Ole Miss has played 48. She's played 46. It's almost played all the games this year. And she takes the first pitch off speed for strike 1. She's a senior. Ole Miss with a couple of seniors in this order. Looks like 6 in the order for the Rebels, so more than a couple. Over 2/3 of the order is seniors.
Well, exactly 2/3.
Good point. Yeah,
You got to do the math, Ty.
sorry.
It's all right. We know math's not one of your strong suits.
Yeah. Trigonometry is killing me. Now that 0-1 caught the outside corner, so it's 0-2 now. Here is the 0-2. Popped up right in the air. Should be an easy play for Morgan Stiles. Can of corn right there for Stiles at second base, and she'll make the play for out number 2.
I think the key word there was should be, and it was, but you always just got to be careful because sometimes, as we've seen earlier, Bernardini just getting unlucky with the bounces or the way things are falling, but good job this time tracking it and making sure it goes in the glove.
Stiles will grab out number 2, and that'll bring up Taylor Malvin for Ole Miss. She takes an all-speed pitch for a strike. A junior Malvin is out of Johns Creek, Georgia, also a Buford High School graduate, just like her teammate Mackenzie Pickens, who was a freshman on this team.
So pretty similar when Binford was.
This one grounded over right to Raylan Chafin for out number 3. So a 1-2-3 inning. Good job by the state defense No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. 1-1 the score will take us to the bottom half of the fifth. Finish that thought.
Man, that seems to happen a lot. I mean, I'm not salty, but it's funny how sometimes you get a good thought and then all of a sudden the play happens. But so Pickens, sort of as of now, was a freshman in high school when. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Malvin was a senior in high school, just like now. Pickens a freshman, Malvin a senior. So they're used to playing with each other. Always fun to see high school teammates reconnecting in college.
Yeah, I think we had some like that in. Always think about home series because we called all of them. I think Missouri had something like that too, where they had a couple of people either from the same town or a couple of girls from the same high school. I don't know that
both.
Yeah, I don't know that State's had anything like that or has anything like that on this team.
Well, I mean, besides the Sell sisters, there's really nothing else.
Well, that makes sense. Obviously,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
That's kind of like a no dumb.
Yeah, look at the last name for that one. But a little YMCA going on here.
Why?
All right, we don't have to sing it, Zach. It's all right. It's all right. Now,
you know, you like the YMCA. As we've got Caleb back here just dancing along.
yeah, Caleb Ward, who's a broadcast guy with me and Zach. He's always wanted to get on the broadcast with us. Should we let him do it?
Yeah, I think we should. We'll get him on. Hey, come on.
Come on, Caleb. Do something. Caleb, what you got to say?
Oh man, not much. You know, we got our 2 interviews with both coaches in the 3rd and 4th inning. You know, went very well. You know, very excited about this crowd so far. Our broadcast has been very good. So I'm very cool to see y'all doing this radio and everything. So I feel very honored to be on here.
Well, we're honored to have you. I appreciate it.
Hey.
How about the ball game we got going?
Man, it's been a very, very good ball game. It's a 1-1 going into the bottom of the 5th. State's got some momentum right here with Sierra Sacco coming up. She's been a hot hitter, coming into this game and everything. Her game has really elevated this season. So it's very interesting to see, what she's going to do right here. Only got 2 innings left until the game's over unless we go extras.
That's right.
That's
right. Well, hey, Caleb, I appreciate you. Thank you for as Sacco fouls this one back. Thank you for coming on. I know it's been your dream.
Oh, yeah. Hey, maybe one day I'll get to do a game with y'all when I ain't working.
Maybe so. I appreciate it, Caleb.
I appreciate you fellas.
Hey, who knows? Maybe we'll have Caleb back, for a post game or another game this series. We'll have to see, but love Caleb. He's a great guy. It's been an honor getting to know him. I mean, he's just a good guy all around.
Off-speed pitch to catch the zone now, an 0-2 count on Sacco as she tries to regroup in the box. But, yeah, good guy. Love Caleb Ward, working with him with Mississippi State broadcasting, a live events crew. A good guy right there. Hope y'all enjoyed listening to him. Sacco, though, swings and misses for out number 3. Just not been her night. For out number 1, strike number 3.
Yeah.
But just not been her night so far.
I feel like she's not being patient as like we normally see her. Caleb said it probably better than I could, but she's a really good hitter, coming to her own, stepped up. But tonight she seems to be way too aggressive. I mean, it is a rivalry game. You want to get hot, get some hits, but you've got to be patient.
So in steps Nadia Barbary. She'll take the first pitch she sees for a ball. Barbary.
She walked twice.
Yeah, has walked twice. I was just about to say that. Walked twice in this one. Does nothing but raise that on-base percentage. She takes this one outside for ball two, So 2-0 the count on her, but now she's a junior out of Douglasville, Georgia. Played with State for 2 years. Played a lot of games for State over her 3 years playing now. As she takes this one high for ball 3.
That right there is patience by Nadia Barbary. But she's been good at that all season long. I mean, heck, being walked 19 times. And should this one fall in or be a ball, it'd be her 20th.
This one, of course, going to be a strike. Good call, Zach.
Hey, I don't count that as a broadcaster's jinx because a 3-0 count, pitchers are going to pitch strikes, batters aren't going to swing.
3-1 is the count. But, yeah, has done a good job of just getting on base. 431 on base percentage this year. Here's a 3-1, misses low. Another walk, her 20th on the season, and her 3rd of the night. So she will get on base. 1 out in the inning and a runner at first for the Bulldogs.
Good patience there. But
I'm sorry.
No,
to
you're all
interrupt you.
good. Go.
She did walk. She walked 3 times last weekend against Kentucky. So already 3 in game 1. Hopefully she can get some more to get on base. But had great patience last week as well.
Oh, great, phenomenal patience. As Kylie Edwards up to bat, she's, as we mentioned earlier, she's kind of come into it. As this one catches the outside for strike 1.
Yeah, she's gotten better as the season is going on. Has struggled tonight, 0 for 2, a fly out in the first and a grounded into a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Here is the 0-1 to her. Misses high and out for ball 1, evens the count up. So Barbary at first base after drawing a walk. State tied with the Rebels 1-1 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. A close ball game. We knew it was going to be close. These two teams do not like each other. Each of them wanting to win this weekend, as this one sent down the right field line and foul. But each of them wanting to win this weekend, not only for bragging rights, but as we mentioned, a chance to maybe host a regional.
Yeah, I mean, not just wanting, but needing to. They need to if they want to have good seeding in the SEC tournament and host and have favorable matchups, etc., heading into the playoffs.
So 1-2 the count after the foul ball from Edwards.
Yeah, that foul ball just tailed it just really, really hard. Looked like it was going to stay fair, and then just, tailed it straight almost towards the Ole Miss bullpen.
She'll stay alive in the count and foul this one off to the right side for no strike, no ball. Keeps the count at 1-2. Got Ole Miss with the same defensive alignment as they had to start the game. Hadn't made any changes. State did make the change with Kalani Sells in the left field in the last inning. That's the only defensive change State has made. Now this one misses high for ball 2. 2-2 the count on Kylie Edwards. State trying to take the lead here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's a 2-2. Good take right there from Kylie Edwards. A off-speed pitch in the dirt for ball 3.
Good eye there, and Barbary, she wasn't going to steal. She's not a big stealer. Only attempted 3 steals this year. Successful on 2 of them. Caught 1 time, but she was going to stay, but was ready to go if that ball got a bit farther away from Brady.
So here's the full count pitch to Edwards. Swung on and fouled down the line. Could be playable. Tough spot for Butte and Yamas, and it's going to drop in between them. So Edwards will stay alive.
Edwards able to get enough of tail on that was carried a tad bit too far for either of the Ole Miss players to get underneath and catch. So she'll stay alive with a 3-2-1 on the board. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and an out.
And then also a runner at first in Nadia Barbary. Big count here, big pitch here for State offensively. Here's the 3-2 to Kylie Edwards. That one gets away from the catcher Brady. It's going to be a walk anyway. Barbary was on her horse to second base. Didn't get far enough to where she could go to third, but State does have runners at first and second now in the game, in the bottom of the 5th. And State, like we mentioned, after the last half of the 4th, the last half inning hitting for State, 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. Now a chance with State, or 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position and 1 for 7 with runners on. So a chance for State now to increase that number, something they need to do if they want to win this game, especially with how well Ole Miss has played defense tonight. And they pitched it pretty well, too.
Yeah,
only 2 hits.
Yeah, they've been pitching really well, but it's been the defensive play overall. They've got a couple of good diving plays by your third baseman, Lansdale, and then some athletic plays by your first baseman, Yamas. She did the full splits after a diving stop by Lansdale. But just phenomenal defense, and Bulldogs, they need something here from Morgan Stiles as the circle visit wraps up. Thought we might have some movement coming from the bullpen of Ole Miss, but nothing coming out yet.
Yeah, Stiles 0 for 2 in this one. And, maybe we were thinking, she'd have at least a good start to the series after going 4 for 10 last weekend against Kentucky. But she's kind of struggled a little bit so far. Grounded out to third in the first and grounded out to the shortstop in the fourth. But a big chance here for her to maybe give State the lead. She swings at the first pitch she sees and fouls it over there towards the equipment over there on the right side, just shy of the Ole Miss bullpen.
Well, her ground out in the first was just unlucky. That's all it was. And then in the fourth, just unable to get it going where she wanted it to go, essentially.
Here's the 0-1 to Styles. This is outside. Evens the count up at 1-1. So Barbary at second base, Edwards at first base. Barbary walked, and Edwards walked. 6 walks in the game for Lopez, which is interesting to think about with how well she's kind of pitched for Ole Miss today. This one sent foul into the Rebel bullpen. But, yeah, 6 walks and only 1 run allowed and 2 hits. So she's kind of bared down when Bulldog runners have gotten on base.
Yeah, she's bared down, as you said, when she needed to. But just looking at the stats, before these 6 walks today, she had 46 on the season. So she walks quite a couple of batters, but as you said, just able to lock in or bear down, using your words, when it matters.
Now this one will hit Morgan Styles, and she'll talk to that Bulldog dugout and fire them up as she'll take first base. A hard 90 over there to first. I say a hard 90. The distance is less. That's what it's called in baseball. But the bases are now loaded now for Mississippi State's offense.
Yeah, I mean, when you get hit, it hurts, especially how close the distance is. That was a fastball pitch there by Lopez. But she turns, and instead of sort of using the hurtness, like, that hurt, let me take a second, she used it into firing up, Blaine and Ernstis, who's going to be on deck. She's going to be pinch hitting.
Yeah, I think she might pinch hit for Morgan Bernardini, who you said you didn't see in the dugout.
I still don't see her, I'll be honest.
Yeah, so hope she's all right if there's something wrong. But if there's not, then there's not. But it will be Ernstis that'll hit for Bernardini if Ernstis is able to get to the plate and Blaine is able to reach base or at least get on with 2 outs.
Interesting thing here. So they had another circle visit, but no pitcher change. In my mind, if it's your second circle visit of the inning, you're going to change pitchers. But they didn't. They're sticking with Lopez with bases loaded and only 1 out. And Jessie Blaine, who's, a phenomenal hitter. She's hit 3 home runs on the season. Could be her 4th year.
Here's the pitch. Misses low. The bases are loaded. 1 out in the inning for State. Blaine at the plate, a 1-0 count. She grounded out in the second and walked in the fourth. Ole Miss with the infield in. Corners ahead of the bag. Middle infielders even with the second base bag. And the 1-0 going to miss high for ball 2. So 2-0. Now we talked about there was movement in the pen. I think if you at least get a ball here or a walk here, at the very least, from Lopez, you might see a pitching change for the Rebels.
Anything on base, you're going to get a pitching change. I can almost guarantee it.
This one hits the strike zone for strike 1, so 2-1 the count on Blaine.
Man, these fans are loud, and it's awesome. You can feel the energy here at News Park, and it's carrying into the players. You've seen the energy just grow as this game progresses.
This one misses high. 3-1 the count. A hitter's count for Jessie Blaine. Crowd will chant ball 4. 3-1 the count, though.
And not only is it energizing the players, but it's getting into Ole Miss's players' heads. Lopez, she seems to be struggling here as the crowd gets more and more into it.
Here's the 3-1 from Lopez. Fouled off hard at the Ole Miss dugout. That'll make it strike 2, so full count now. But yeah, that one was smoked.
Watch out, cameraman. Or camera woman, sorry.
Yeah, whoever was on the camera over there almost got smoked too. Watch out over there.
They kind of have the cameras in a dangerous position here, but, you got to do what you got to do for a good broadcast. TV broadcast, that is.
Full count pitch. Here we go. Blaine sends this one down the line, and I think it's going to go into the Ole Miss bullpen at will. So she stays alive. Still got a full count. Runners at every bag for Mississippi State and 1 out in the inning.
Nowhere to go for Jesse Blaine. Blaine doing a good job of being patient, but then staying alive, defending that zone, as you would say. Let's see what Lopez does here.
Swing and a foul tip into the glove for out number 2. Strikeout for Jesse Blaine. And now Paige Ernst will step in. Go ahead.
Just unfortunate there from Blaine. She saw it. She saw the pitch, just unable to get enough for it to go foul. Instead, just gets barely any, and good sort of hand-eye coordination there by Brady.
So we could have a pitching change here, and we will. Now this is going to be Aaliyah Benford, who is going to come in. She had the home run to give Ole Miss a 1-0 lead in the top of the 4th, but she doesn't just hit. She pitches. She's pitched this year for Ole Miss, 18 appearances in 13 games, started an 8-2 record, 3.39 ERA, and 7 complete games, 84 2/3 innings pitched, 89 hits, 47 runs, 41 earned, 35 walks, 62 strikeouts. Opponents are 273 against her. Now, we mentioned she was a transfer from Baylor and played there for 3 years. She also pitched a heck of a lot at Baylor as well.
Yeah, she reminds me of sort of how Lexi Sosa was playing at the beginning of the season. Sosa, she's a good pitcher. We've seen her pitch a couple times here as we got into SEC play. But as we got into SEC play, her batting has kind of gone down, so we haven't seen as much from her. Plus, Ricketts likes sort of that Blaine-Wesolowski duo between designated player and catcher. But there's a lot of similarities between Mississippi State and Ole Miss. I mean, just being from the same state, but you just look at positions, and it's very, very similar, almost identical.
Positions, same state, the record, almost identical. But, yeah, it'll be Aaliyah Benford who's going to pitch for Ole Miss here. So the book's not quite closed yet on Brianna Lopez. She would be responsible for all 3 of these runs. So her night is technically not quite over yet, although she's not pitching anymore. Could have 3 more runs to her tally, added on to her tally. But, yeah, Benford going to step in and pitch. But, yeah, she, like we mentioned, had a home run in the 4th that gave Ole Miss the lead. And now going to try and step into the circle and stop this bottom of the 5th attack from Mississippi State.
Yeah, I mean, you got pinch hitter Paige Ernst up. She's probably the best pinch hitter, and I would say the best pinch hitter the Bulldogs have.
Yeah, I would agree with you. She takes the first pitch for a ball, so 1-0 the count. But not a bad decision by Ole Miss, I think, to go with Benford here, another pitcher, to try something different. Is this one going to catch the zone for strike 1? So they have now Pickens at second. Everything's the same. They both have knee braces on, which makes them look like they're the same player. So I thought maybe they switched people.
No, Benford, she was the designated player to start the game.
Yeah. Ernst just sends this one over to third base. Lansdale, it goes off of her, and she's able to grab it, touch the bag for out number 3. Good job keeping it in front of her body there, and that'll end the inning. State strands 3. They leave the bases loaded. No runs, no hits, no errors. And like I said, 3 stranded for Mississippi State. That's now 8 stranded in the ball game for the Bulldogs. And we will move to the top half of the 6th inning, where it is Mississippi State 1, Ole Miss 1. Raylan Chafin still in the circle for State. We'll be back in just a moment for the top half of the 6th. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network.
Lost the game that you've been running. Guess it's catching up to you. You think that you're so innocent after all that you did. I ain't an angel, you ain't innocent. Can't wash our hands of this. I had some help. It ain't like I can make this kind of mess
Back here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network, we are in the top half of the 6th inning where Mississippi State and Ole Miss are tied at 1. 1, 2, 3 due up for the Rebels. It's going to be Jaden Pone who will step in 1 for 2 today. There's the first pitch to her. Misses off the outside corner for ball 1. Bernardini is in left field. It's good to see her back in the ball game. She officially checks in for Paige Ernstis, who pinch hit for her.
It's kind of confusing how that all works because you had Kaylani Sells, out there for her, and then Paige Ernstis hits. It's just, I like how fluid it can be.
This one will miss outside, so the ball or the count is 2-0 after a ball. And here's the pitch. That's a strike. 2-1 the count. Pone takes that one, but Pone, we mentioned while she's been up, has been lethal for Ole Miss this season. Their best hitter for the Rebels this year, a senior out of Hope Mills, North Carolina, played some at Longwood as well. As this one is a strike, 2-2 the count.
Yeah, she's entered this weekend just on fire. She's hitting .477 just in the month of April. 7 of her 13 multi-hit games have come in SEC play. 4 for 4 day versus Florida, and then 3 for 3 day versus Tennessee. So, I mean, one of the hottest, if not the hottest hitter in the SEC.
She sends one over to Riley Hull. She'll backhand it and step over on first base for out number 1. So State retires the leadoff hitter for the Rebels. Good job by Chafin fighting back from a 2-0 start to the count, getting 2 strikes and then a ground out. So that'll bring up Lair Boutte for Ole Miss. 0 for 2, fly out on the first, and a line out in the third. This one just off the outside corner for ball 1.
Yeah, Boutte really hasn't done anything for Ole Miss today. See what she can do, if anything, here against Chafin.
She fouls one right back to the screen, so that'll even the count at 1-1. But coming in to the series in SEC play, 17 for 53. That's good for 321. So now it's dipped down a little bit, the average has now with 0 for 2, so 17 for 55. Now she sends a shot in the left field and foul. I mean, she got all that one, and just was, luckily for State, was foul.
Well, I mean, also heading into this game, just of all games so far this season, the third best batting average for Ole Miss, just behind Yamas and Pone. So, and I mean, she's only had 75 at bats heading into today. So, haven't seen her as much as some of these other hitters for Ole Miss, but when she's up there, she does damage for them.
She sends one right back up the box. Diving forward is Edwards. She can't make the play, and that'll be a single, 1-out single for Boutte. So runner at first base for the Rebels, and Benford going to hit for herself as the pitcher. She'll step into the box. They're going to make that lineup change real quick. Or actually, the change they're going to make is they're going to bring in a pinch runner. Let's see if I can see the number over there. I can't quite see the number yet.
We've got a coach in the way, a first base coach for Ole Miss.
Yeah, but Benford is the hitter. I think that's Addison Duke. Yeah, it's going to be Addison Duke. Addison Duke is going to run for Boutte, freshman out of Yuma, Arizona. First pitch to Benford, fouled to the State dugout. So 0-1 to count. But would be big here for Chafin to work through this top half of the order, leave herself in a good spot. If you can have those 6, 7, or if you can have the bottom of the order, really, the bottom half, 6, 7, 8, and 9, if you could have some of those hitters due up when you come back in the top of the 7th and maybe with a lead, you might be, as this one swung on and missed from Benford for strike 2, but, you know, you might find yourself in a good position with all those 6, 7, 8, 9 hitters being 0 for 2 in a game.
Well, I mean, even if you're able to say somehow you get a double play here and then Yamas is up to bat, Yamas and then Brady, I mean, it's still not terrible. Benford, Yamas both 1 for 2, Brady 1 for 2. So it's looking really favorable for her if she's able to keep Ole Miss from getting on and doing some damage here in the top of the 6th.
This one misses inside, and 1 and 2 to count. But, yeah, if you just get 2 outs in order, if you get Benford out and you get Yamas up, you would have 5, 6, and 7 due up. And Brady out of 5, 6, and 7 is the only one with a hit.
I mean, 1 for 6 combined of the next 3 if you go the next 2.
This one fouled, and Benford will stay alive. Benford with one of the 5 hits today for the Rebels, and that 1 hit is responsible for the only run for Ole Miss today. It was a home run to right field in the top of the 4th, which State responded in the bottom of the 4th with an RBI double from Ella Wesolowski to even things up. State has had plenty of opportunities since then, but hadn't been able to cash in.
That's been the story all season for the Bulldogs, just unable to capitalize on base, and it's something we've talked about all season long.
This one swung on and missed, and a big strikeout for Raylan Chafin. Benford sent to the dugout. It's going to be the 4th strikeout of the night for Raylan Chafin. Now, Chafin, we mentioned, had a really good series against Kentucky. That Game 3, 11 strikeouts in Game 3.
Ooh.
Had 8 in Game 1 as well, so can't forget about that. So 19 strikeouts in 14 innings pitched total in that series. First pitch to Yamas is going to catch the outside corner for strike 1.
I mean, she's 23 away from 200 strikeouts, which would be a phenomenal sort of mark to reach this season, and there's still quite a bit of the season left. I mean, yes, this is the last series of the regular season, but you got the SEC tournament, and should you host regionals or whatever, you're going to get couple more games.
Got a lot of season left. This one fouled off the netting to the left for strike 2, but one of the this season has been one of the best single season pitching performances in Mississippi State history, if not the best. And we would have to look at that maybe during the middle of the 6th inning. But it's been one of the best, and I know there's been a couple of seasons that have been really good, but this has been a fantastic season for her.
If I remember correctly, now I will double check myself during the next break, but I think the last time we've had a pitching season like this was Mia Davidson.
This one swung on and missed as well. Chafin fired up about it. 5 strikeouts on the night for her. A swing and a miss retires Yamas to end the top half of the 6th inning. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and Ole Miss leaves a runner on first base. That'll send us to the bottom half of the 6th. We're going to take a short break here as we will have State will have 7, 8, and 9 due up. Wesolowski, Hull, and Kiara Sells. 1-1 going to the bottom of the 6th. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldogs Student Sports Network.
Travel on, there's one day here and the next day gone. Sometimes you bend, sometimes you stand, sometimes you turn your back to the wind. There's a world outside every darkened door where blues won't haunt you anymore, where the brave are free and lovers soar. Come ride with me to the distant shore. We won't hesitate to break down the garden gate. There's not much time left today. Life is a highway, I wanna ride it all night long. If you're going my way, well, I wanna drive it all night long. Through all these cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I love you now like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the hands. Come on.
Back here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network, State 1, Ole Miss 1. It's Ella Wesolowski who'll step in and face Aaliyah Benford, who's just entered the ball game. Entered in the bottom of the 5th inning for Ole Miss. First pitch to Wesolowski, swung on and missed for strike 1. A little bit of a fielding change for Ole Miss. They've got Duke now in right field. This one will catch the outside corner for strike 2. That's Addison Duke in right field. She pinch ran in that last inning. She's going to be playing right. Here's the 0-2 to Wesolowski. Off speed. Wesolowski waits on it, but fouls it into the Ole Miss dugout.
Good job just seeing that pitch right there and getting something on that. That was kind of like she swung, tried to hold it up, and then continued the swing, sort of like a pump fake almost.
0-2 count on the Bulldog catcher. She's 1 for 2 today. Had that RBI double in the 4th that tied the game. This one fouled. I think it hit off her bat twice in the box on the front swing or the original swing and the back swing.
Either her bat twice or her bat and then her back. Couldn't really tell. It looked like she almost went, so might have hit her back, but either way, just once again staying alive, down 0-2 in the count.
Here is the 0-2 from Benford. Taken over to Yamas at first base. She lost her glove on the play, but able to stay with it and steps on the bag for out number 1.
I mean, these corners, infield corners for Ole Miss have been phenomenal today. Lansdale over at third and Yamas over at first, just making some clutch plays for Ole Miss to keep the score where it's at, and either to keep the score where it's at or end innings.
Yeah, Lansdale and Yamas have been great corner infielders today for Ole Miss. Just great job by Yamas, just keeping focus there at first base. First pitch to Riley Hull, going to be called strike 1. She's 0 for 1 today, walked in the 4th, but struck out in the 3rd. Sure, if you're State, you'd love to go in the top of the 7th with a lead here. Hull lays a bunt down right in front of the plate. Should try and beat it out at first. Another great play made by the Ole Miss defense. It's Brady that steps out from behind the plate and throws it over to first for out number 2.
That almost hit her square in the back of the head.
It was a close play. Brady just had to get rid of it because Hull was moving down the line. And that bunt kind of caught everybody by surprise, and everybody other than Brady. She was all over. So in steps Kiara Sells with 2 outs in the inning for State. This first pitch to her is a called strike. She singled in the 1st, was out in the 4th. 1 for 2. Here's the pitch to her. 0-1 pitch misses outside for ball 1. 1-1 the count. Sells, a junior, looking to make a big play for State. Try and give them the lead as they head to the top of the 7th, or at least get something started here with 2 outs. This 1-1 misses high. It's 2-1 now.
If you were Sacco, with how Chafin pitched in the top of the 6th, would you rather, say Sell get on base and hit? Would you rather, Sell get out and start things off in the top of the 7th?
Sells is going to be on base because she sends this one into the gap, rounding first and heading to second. It'll be a stand-up double, and it'll bring up Sierra Sacco, who I know wants it right now. She's 0 for 3 in the ball game, and well, hey, if you're the best hitter on the team and one of the best in the SEC, one of the best in the country, this is your moment right here. Kiara Sells, a good job. Just at a rope in the left center field. Only the 3rd hit of the game for State. That puts a runner in scoring position for the Bulldogs' best hitter, Sierra Sacco.
If you're Sacco, you've got to be patient. You have to be patient here. You haven't really been patient all game long. You've gotten into 0-2 counts, 1-2 counts, whatever it may be, and just be patient. These Ole Miss pitchers today, they've been throwing a lot of balls, so just be patient. Be patient. That's what she's got to be.
First pitch to Sacco is watched for ball one, an off-speed pitch low.
Exactly that, Ty. Be patient.
So 1-0 the count. Sacco 0 for 1 today, a ground out in the first and a strikeout, 2 strikeouts in the third and the fifth. Here's the 1-0. Off speed, she doesn't like it and takes it for ball one, for strike one, right down the middle. Maybe not looking for an off speed in that situation, maybe trying to see something higher in speed.
She's being patient. That is for sure.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Outside, ball 2. 2-1 the count. It doesn't get any better if Sacco reaches because in terms of Ole Miss, Barbary sitting in the on-deck circle, standing in the on-deck circle. She's definitely dangerous in herself. Sacco fouls this one off the net to the left. 2-2 the count. Deuce is on the board. 2-2 count with 2 outs in the inning.
But yeah, Barbary, I mean, even if Sacco reaches here, Barbary, she's walked all 3 times she's been to the plate this evening. So, I mean, that's got to be in the back of Binford's mind. Like, she's got to get an out here.
This one sent softly to the second baseman, Pickens, and she'll make the throw over for out number 3. Sacco retired for the 4th time tonight, and that'll end the bottom half of the 6th inning. Score 1-1, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base for Mississippi State. It's another runner left in scoring position, Zach.
Yeah, another one. That's the 9th of the evening. Just you've got to capitalize. You have to capitalize.
Yeah, 9th left on base, maybe like 3rd or 4th left in scoring position tonight. State has had a lot of opportunities and had more than Ole Miss, but just hadn't been able to convert. I think that's something, if maybe it doesn't go State's way tonight, you're looking back at like, hey, we had so many opportunities in this ball game and just couldn't get it done. But that is also a credit to Ole Miss's defense. I think Ole Miss's defense has been really, really strong for the Rebels tonight.
Yeah, you're going to look back definitely if things pan out Ole Miss's way. You're going to look back at that, but you're also going to look back at the bright spot, Raylan Chafin. She's been phenomenal so far this night as we head to the top of the 7th. And, I mean, what more can I say? It feels like every game she pitches, we're saying something more about how phenomenal of a pitcher she is, how great of a pickup it was for Coach Ricketts and the Bulldog staff.
Yeah, 5 strikeouts tonight, 5 hits, but and only 1 earned run tonight for her off that solo shot from Benford in the 4th. But other than that, she's been pretty much flawless tonight for Mississippi State.
I think it's time I give the folks the stats that we talked about earlier, but so we kind of looked them up. But so she is heading into this game. She was tied for 6th in strikeouts in Bulldog history with 173. She's now 5 away from cracking the top 5, which is 183 is the 5th.
And she's only done that in 1 season.
Yeah,
by the way.
1 season, her first season here. But the last time a Bulldog pitcher had more than 200 strikeouts, take a guess, Ty.
Probably somewhere around the mid-2010s.
Yeah, 2015. And it was Alexis Silkwood. So if you're an old-school MSU softball fan, that name rings a bell. But 2015, she tallied 216 strikeouts, which ranked 4th in the program's single-season history.
So Chafin up there with some all-time great pitchers for Mississippi State. She'll face the 5, 6, 7 hitters here in the top half of the 7th. For Ole Miss, it's Brady steps in and takes the first pitch for a ball. Brady 1 for 2 in the game with a single in the second. Had a single right back up the middle in that second inning. She checks, and did she go around? Apparently she didn't. To first base umpire Stephen Gould. So now a quick 2-ball count, 2-0 on Brady.
I will say Ole Miss has done a good job of keeping the bat on the shoulder all night long. And Bulldog fans aren't happy about that, but good job for them.
Now that one didn't catch the inside corner. I thought that was, to me, it looked like a strike. We're a little off center, but it looked like a strike to me. I'm not going to argue balls and strikes, so 3-0 the count. That one's most certainly a strike.
It's
a 3-1 the count.
It's what I said earlier. You've had pitches throughout the entire game that could have gone either way, sort of right on the edge of the zone, whether inside, outside, high or low. and you just got to be okay with that. I mean, that's part of the sport. It's the human aspect. That's what makes it so much fun.
3-1 pitch is sent into the air by Brady. Callie Edwards going to step into the outfield grass and make the grab for out number 1. So that'll bring up Mackenzie Pickens for Ole Miss. She's 0 for 2 today. A line out in the second, strikeout in the fourth. A freshman for Ole Miss. A big spot in the game, top of the 7th in the tie ball game against your rival. Swing and a miss for her on the first pitch she sees from Chafin in this at bat.
Good job, Chafin, at that last at bat, battling back from, 3-0 or to get 3-1, and then that pop out into shallow left field. Edwards, good job, just ranging back, able to snag it.
Here's the 0-1 to Pickens. Pickens out in front of that one, and she fouls it back to the net for strike 2. It's a little bit different than the first at-bat of the inning. Now it's Chafin with the advantage over the offensive hitter Pickens. Here's the pitch. A little high there. Just a little high. Went out of the glove of Wesolowski's, and maybe a little bit too much put into that one from Chafin.
Maybe just a tad bit, just a drop. But Wesolowski can jump, that's for sure. She almost snagged that.
Here's the 1-2 to Pickens. Fouled back off the net. We'll do the 1-2 again, but that one was way high that got us to ball 1. It's that was just a product of Chafin wants it. Chafin wants it a lot right now. Wants to get her defense off the field and her offense back on the field and go win this game at the bottom of the 7th.
She knows what's on line here. She knows what's at stake and what the Bulldogs need to do to keep their season alive as long as possible.
This one misses high as well. Not as high as the first one that missed high, but it does miss high and out of the zone for ball 2. So 2-2 the count on Pickens. Pickens has drawn 18 walks this season. 3 hit by pitches. Off speed taken into left field over the head of Bernardini. Rounding first is going to be Pickens. Throw offline to Stiles, and it's going to be a 1-out double for Ole Miss.
Just unfortunate for Bernardini out there in left field. She was kind of playing more, I'd say shallower than she normally does. And that ball just a bit more oomph than she thought. Kind of sailed over her head, hit the warning track, one-hopped off of the wall. Throw was almost there. Had it been accurate, probably would have been a tag out. But nonetheless, as you said, a stand-up double here with 1 out, and you've got Lansdale.
Yeah, Ashton Lansdale going to step in.
Who's 0 for 2, by the way.
0 for 2 today. Big spot for her here. That one misses inside for ball 1. But just a big spot for her, a big spot in the ball game here. State want to be tied going into the bottom of the 7th. Your Ole Miss definitely want to have a lead. Here's the 1-0. Catches the outside corner for strike 1, evens the count up. But to that Pickens hit, she smoked that one in the second inning. That was caught by Sacco, and then that's another pitch that she smoked. She's been on it today.
Yes, she has. She's seen the ball really well. She swings and misses for strike 2.
Yeah, Lansdale swings and misses. But yeah, it has seen it well, and not lucky on the first at bat, but wasn't a matter of luck there. She just got that one over the head of Bernardini. We're with Lansdale here, and she's got a 1-2 count on her. Here's the pitch. Driven into right field, right at Kiara Sells. Tagging is going to be Pickens. The tag is down and made. What a play, Kiara Sells. And it sends Mississippi State back into the dugout and ready to hit in the bottom of the 7th inning.
If you guys can hear the fans right now, the fans went absolutely wild. That was a big-time throw, big time out there for the Bulldogs. They needed that. Heading into the bottom of the 7th, with an out like that, you've got all the momentum you need to hit a walk-off here.
Man, what a throw by Kiara Sells. And just a surge of momentum for Mississippi State, and hopefully they can capitalize on that.
Well, I mean, that throw, it wasn't like it was shallow right field. That was from probably
That was honestly straight away right. It was
Yeah.
honestly straight away, normal positioning right field.
and that's a good, what?
That's a long throw. That's a long
That's-
throw.
I'd say that's probably like a throw from, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
It's a
Describe it
long
to.
throw.
Yeah.
I think the listeners can understand. Straight away right to third base
Yeah.
is a long throw. I mean, it is a long throw, and hey, I tell you what, don't test Kiara Sells. She'll throw you out. I mean, that was a fantastic play made by her, and it gives Mississippi State a lot of momentum going into the bottom of the seventh. But it was no runs on one hit, no errors, and nobody left on base after a double play that ended the top of the seventh for Ole Miss. So 1-1 as we move to the bottom of the seventh. State with Barbary, Edwards, and Styles up.
I think the thing that impressed me most about that throw was how accurate it was. Because a lot of those throws, it's hard to be accurate. I mean, you saw the one from Bernardini over to Edwards at shortstop. It wasn't that accurate, but that one was just right on the money. It was perfect.
Yeah, it was. It was right on the money. And hopefully we'll give State some momentum as we head to the bottom of the seventh. State a chance to walk this thing off. Barbary, Edwards, and Styles due up. None of those three have hits, but Barbary has reached base every time she's been on with 3 walks in the ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the stats right here, just the team hitting summary, neither of the teams have hit well, but the Bulldogs have gone an uncharacteristic 3 for 21 on the evening. That's good enough for a 143 batting average. They've walked 6 times, 3 of those from Barbary, as you said, struck out 5 times, 1 for 10 with runners on, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. So they've got to get something going here with Barbary, even if it's just another walk.
First pitch to her is going to miss for a ball. Leah Benford's still in the circle for Ole Miss, trying to send this one to extras and get free softball here in Starkville. That's not what we want, and that's not what this State faithful wants. Off speed misses high to Barbary for ball 2. Maybe they're just don't want to pitch to Barbary. Maybe so after that great performance against against Kentucky last weekend. 4 for 9, I believe, 2 home runs.
Yeah, maybe just wanting to keep it away from her. I mean, she has 10 homers on the season, so.
This one catches the outside corner. Our home plate umpire, Ronald White, has been fairly favorable on the outside corner to right-handed hitters. Not so much the inside corner to right-handed hitters. Obviously, that would be lefty inside corner and lefty outside corner that he's not been favorable to. This one sent softly and foul over to the right. Yamas couldn't quite get to it. So the count now 2-2.
Yeah, I will say that outside corner has been where most of the back and forth calls have been. One at bat, it's a ball. The next at bat, it's a strike. So I think one of the things the fans here are struggling with is the inconsistency.
Barbary sends this one over to second. Pickens makes the play, and Yamas makes the grab for out number 1. So the leadoff hitter in the inning retired for State. And Kylie Edwards going to step in for the Bulldogs. 0 for 2 today. Did reach base in the 5th by way of a walk.
Need something here.
And need some sort of sign of life from the Bulldog bats. Just get a runner in scoring position, or just make Ole Miss make a play, and, something will happen maybe. Edwards sends this one down the line, third baseline, and just foul.
Yeah, force them to make a play. Now, Ole Miss, they've made plays, but the more you have to force them to make plays, the more likely it is for an error or something to slip past them.
I mean, anytime you put the ball in play, something has to happen. So you'd rather put the ball in play, than anything else. You'd rather do that than strike out, if you know what I'm saying. So, anytime the ball is put in play, defense has to do something about it. So you'd rather at least just have it in play. So here's the 0-1 with 1 out in the inning to Callie Edwards. going to catch the outside corner for strike 2. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 1-1 tie here at News Park in Starkville, Mississippi, on the campus of Mississippi State University. State with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. Edwards takes the 0-2 outside for a ball, 1-2 the count.
Good patience there, down 0-2. Even though that was you could pretty clearly tell some batters tend to chop or swing at that sort of reaching, but good job keeping the bat glued to the shoulder there.
Here's the 1-2. That one also outside. Evens the count up at 2-2.
Those are some of the biggest eye-opening pitches to have, where it's coming sort of eye level, chest level, sort of outside, just like, ooh, tasty. But good job once again, bat staying glued.
Here's a 2-2. Grounded right back to Benford in the circle. Throw over to first. That's out number 2. So that'll bring up Morgan Stiles. With 2 outs in the inning, State their last chance in the bottom of the 7th to walk off Ole Miss.
Need a big hit from Stiles. She's a good hitter so far this season. She has 7 home runs. Only struck out 9 times, walked 13 times. As we mentioned, 308 now batting average. So see if she can get something here. She's 0 for 2 on the day. Grounded in the 1st, grounded in the 4th, but then was hit by a pitch in the 5th.
First pitch to her, going to miss for a ball. You got Jessie Blaine on deck if she can get to the plate. She's 0 for 2 today. There's the 1-0, misses outside, ball 2. But I believe Blaine has also reached base on a walk as well, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
Here's a 2-0. Stiles takes it for strike 1. So 2-1 the count. And this one misses outside, so now 3-1. And yes, Blaine has walked today, so she's at least touched first base. If she gets on, I obviously want her to do more than that to give State the win. But a 3-1 count on the Bulldogs cleanup hitter, Morgan Stiles. Here's the pitch. And she check swings but offers at that one for strike 2. So a full count, 2 outs. Nobody on. 1-1 the score in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the pitch. Off speed, misses low, and that is going to be a 2-out walk from Benford to Stiles. Good job by Stiles to get on base right there any way she could.
Yeah, good job just staying patient. That's ultimately what she did. Good job keeping the bat, or choking up and keeping that check swing from going far enough. But Jessie Blaine's got to get something here if the Bulldogs want to have a chance to walk things off.
So runner on first, 2 outs. Here's Jessie Blaine. Off speed to her, in there for a strike. Stiles running for herself over there at first base. A lot of speed as a middle infielder. Have to believe if she's in a gap, Coach Tyler Bratton could be aggressive if this one's hitting a gap by Jessie Blaine. This one taken high and out for ball 1. It'll be interesting to see, too. I mean, she's not tried to steal a base this season. Be interesting to see, though, how aggressive she is here at first base at this point in the ballgame.
Yeah, that will be definitely something interesting to keep an eye on.
1-1. Check swing, but she didn't go around, but it was a called strike, so now 1-2. Good off speed there from Benford. Benford's off speed pitches have been really good.
Off speed caught her off guard. She wanted to go, but then saw the off speed and held up. I mean, unfortunate there for Blaine.
Off speed going to miss outside for ball 2. So Deuces on the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. A runner at first for State. That's Morgan Stiles, who drew a 2-out walk. In a 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 7th. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Misses high and out. Ball 3. Full count. Blaine is able to reach base here. Have a runner in scoring position, State would. For a speedy Styles, that would be great if one can get shot into the outfield.
Binford a bit upset with herself after that last pitch. Not where she wanted it. She wanted it more inside.
Here's a pitch. Blaine stays alive with the off speed from Binford, fouls it back just to keep the count at full 3-2.
That was really close, Ty. That one was probably one of the closest foul balls I've seen all game.
Yeah, she's got a really good off-speed pitch, Binford does. Tough to stay on balance if you're a hitter. Here's the 3-2 again. Blaine sends it to center field. Back at the wall. Gone! A home run! Mississippi State has walked off Ole Miss and won it 3-1 over the Rebels.
That is how you walk things off. Good job, Blaine, staying aggressive, staying patient, fighting back, keeping alive there with, as I said, the closest foul ball I've seen, and she takes that pitch, just sails over the center field wall, and what a storybook ending, Ty. We said it was going to be a close game all day, heading into the game, as we got into the game, and this is a storybook ending.
Man, I mean, that was a line shot in the center field. Malvin had a chance at it, gave effort to try and rob it, but could not get it. The Lord wanted that one to go over the center field wall, and it did. And Mississippi State wins 3-1 in walk-off fashion. Ole Miss. And how about it for Jessie Blaine, senior night here in Starkville, honored before the game and senior night. She makes a big play, a big hit right there to win it for her Dogs.
I mean, you can see her. She's almost in tears down there of joy, just how happy. But you've got to feel for Ole Miss. Not the way you wanted game one to go, but just tremendous fight from the Lady Bulldogs, just staying alive even when things weren't going their way. Only 4 hits on the day. They left 9 on base, so they had the chances, nothing going, but then get a hit like that. Huge momentum heading into game 2.
Well, hey, what's it been this year? What's the story been for the State offense? Home runs. And they get a home run. State is hitting home runs, out the wazoo this season, and they get one in the biggest point of the ball game. Just talk about that, Zach.
Well, heading into this game, they had scored 131 runs. After that 2-run bomb, that's 133 runs off of homers this year. That amounts to, before this, we've got to redo the calculations, but heading today, that counted for almost 40% of State's scoring this season, over 42% of its RBIs. And they have broken the school record with 6 grand slams. 8 of 9 regular starters have hit a home run this season. And it's just, we said this throughout the season, homers, that's how the Bulldog offense works, and they come at the most important times. This is a perfect example. I leapt out of my seat as soon as I saw that ball leave off the bat.
That one was smoked. You knew it had a chance off the bat. Blaine gave it a good ride, and you mentioned, too, being able to saw off and fight off that 3-2 pitch, the off-speed pitch from Binford, being able to fight off that one and send it back to the screen and stay alive to give herself one more pitch. And on that pitch, it was a ball that was taken out of the yard and gave Mississippi State the walk-off win. Any last words, Zach, before we take a break and then have the post-game show?
If this doesn't sum up the SEC perfectly and how tight it's been. We talked about earlier how tight sort of the race is for 4 through 11 seeds. I don't know what else will. A close game between rivals. You expect it to be close, but, just phenomenal ending, and glad it went the Bulldogs' way here tonight as they get the victory at game 1 of this 3-game series on Super Bulldog Weekend.
A fantastic start to Super Bulldog Weekend. The Bulldog Student Sports Network will have games 2 and 3 for you whenever those may be. Might have some rain tomorrow here in Starkville, so could end up having a doubleheader on Saturday, but we will have those games for you regardless. Whenever it's played, we'll have those games for you. But yes, like Zach said, a good start to Super Bulldog Weekend and a good start to the series for Mississippi State. They win it 3-1 over Ole Miss. We will be back in just a moment. I believe it'll just be me for the post-game show, but I'll be back in just a moment with the post-game show here from the News Park Press Box in Starkville, Mississippi. Mississippi State 3, Ole Miss 1. You're listening to Mississippi State Softball on the Bulldog Student Sports Network.
DJ Khaled! Hey! Leave a bang!
won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere. What they saying, loot is back. Blame it on that contour. The hood call it Ludiac. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South champion. Cause all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Swerving in my low-low, head on the swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy. Tell Cali back it up, my call me loco. Down for armed trafficking, don't make me pull up. Ask you what you laughing at, represent that mud life. Dirty money, better get your mud right. We come together holding hands and holler hood life. We all strapping all black, it's like life. You riding the what? Cause we riding the night. Now she riding with me cause you wasn't riding. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Heat in the kitchen, hot on the stove, water getting boiled. Being sold, Snoopy in the hookie, system overload. I've been running this rap game since I was 20 years old. I hung with the worst of them, bust till I burst them up, floss them up, toss them up, harder way, close them up. Pardon me, I'm bossing up, pressure up, bless you, bro, don't mess with us. We like the U in the 80s, back to back, set a track, hit the lick, get it back, hit the trick, jump the track. Want my money back, time and time again, while I'm sipping on this gin. Al Davis said it best, just win, baby, win.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Back here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network, Mississippi State winners over Ole Miss 3-1 in walk-off fashion. It's a Jesse Blaine 2-run home run that wins it for MSU. And the Bulldogs have now moved to 36-15 and 12-10 in the SEC. Ole Miss drops to 34-15 and 10-12 in the SEC, and the Dogs take game one over Ole Miss here. This final SEC series of the season for both squads, and the first event of Super Bulldog weekend. How about that finish, Zach? We just took a little break outside, got some fresh air, came back in to do the post-game show, and we were just talking about it. But how about that ending to the ball game, Zach?
As I said before, I'm going to repeat it again. That was a fairy tale ending, a storybook ending. I mean, the only reason I had to step outside was because how excited I got. I mean, you can attest to this. As soon as I saw it leave the bat, I leapt out of my seat, knew it had a chance, and it's so much fun calling these games. We talked about we haven't really had a chance to really have any of these exciting game-winning calls. For me, the last time it was the softball game against Texas, but it's so fun to be a part of a rivalry game like that and a walk-off nonetheless.
Oh, most definitely, just a great finish and a great start for Mississippi State in the first game of this rivalry series here at Noose Park in Starkville, Mississippi. So I'll give you the stats. Zach will give you the thoughts. First, we're going to look at the final, or we'll look at who got the loss and who got the win tonight pitching-wise. Now, they gave Aaliyah Benford the loss tonight, and she drops now to 8-3 on the season. And Raylan Chafin is given the win for Mississippi State. She moves to 21-7. That's a staggering number, 21-7 on the year. But we'll look at things for Ole Miss. Brianna Lopez started for the Rebels, went 4 2/3, 2 hits, given up 1 run that was earned. Had 6 walks, and that was what put her in tough times. It gave her tough times, but she was able to get off the field. State was really unable to capitalize with runners on and in scoring position. She had 5 strikeouts, faced 23 Bulldog batters, and threw 98 pitches. Now, Aaliyah Benford was given the loss. She went 2 innings pitched, came in relief for Brianna Lopez. Gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, both of them earned, 1 walk, no strikeouts, faced 9 Bulldog hitters, and threw 42 total pitches. So I want to hear first, and then we'll get to Raylan Chafin. What did you think from Ole Miss pitching tonight?
I mean, it was phenomenal. As the entire time, Lopez did a good job of just controlling the tempo when things got out of control, locking back in, getting things back in. I mean, Bulldogs stranded 9 runners. That's unacceptable from the Bulldogs, but that just shows how well the pitching was and the defense was from Ole Miss. And then Benford came in. She had that homer earlier, but she came in, settled things down. She almost sent it to extra innings. As we said before, Blaine got lucky with that foul tip right before, and Benford gave her exactly what Blaine was looking for.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, the defense is something that should definitely be talked about for both teams, but especially for Ole Miss, especially with how much traffic there was on the base pass for Mississippi State tonight. I think the defense really held strong when things got tough, especially when Ole Miss was walking batters with Lopez in the game. But, Benford came in and did a good job, like you said, and, that off-speed pitch was good for her tonight. But, just for her, got unlucky on the last pitch of the ball game. It was driven out of here, and Mississippi State won it over Ole Miss 3-1. Now we'll look at Raylan Chafin. She goes for a complete game tonight. One of her many this season. 7 innings pitched, obviously complete game. 6 hits given up, 1 run. It was earned, obviously. It was a home run from Aaliyah Benford in the 4th inning. No walks tonight, and that's really good to see. She did a good job of keeping runners off the base pass outside of hits. Hits are gonna happen, right? You don't. It's not like you have a no hitter or a perfect game every game. Hits are gonna happen, but Chafin did a good job of. Before I let you turn it over to you, I want to say Chafin did a good job of limiting things on the base pass, something that Ole Miss kind of struggled with doing tonight. 5 strikeouts for Chafin. She faced 25 Rebel batters and threw 102 pitches. What did you see? What did you like from Raylan Chafin tonight? And if there's something you didn't like, well, heck, tell us what it is.
I'll be honest. I didn't hate anything. It was a phenomenal job from her. I mean, I think you summed it up perfectly. She kept the bases clear for the most part, just dominant pitching, knew what she was going to pitch, did a good job executing. But just some stat-wise from what you were talking about, complete games, victories, stuff like that. So heading into this game, she had 20 victories, which was good enough for 11th in the nation. 11th in the nation, tied first in the SEC. So that's now 21, could crack the top 10 nationally. She had 20 complete games before this one, so 21st. The 20 was good enough for 11th nationally, 7th. Sorry, yeah. Geez Louise, I'm getting...
You're okay. You're all right.
Sorry. So 16 complete games, now 17, which was 24th, but now could be tied for first in the SEC, 11th nationally, depending on how LSU, Tennessee plays this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, she's been great all season, and, was definitely great tonight. Good numbers for the starter for Mississippi State. She gets the win and moves to 21-7 on the year. We'll look at Ole Miss's offensive output tonight. No runs in any inning but the 4th. They had the solo shot from Aaliyah Benford in the 4th inning. They had 1 run on 6 hits, no errors from their defense, obviously, and they left 3 on base. The 6 hits came from Pone, Boutte, Benford, Yamas, Brady, and Pickens. That's Pone, Boutte, Benford, Yamas, Brady, and Pickens. So 6 hits for Ole Miss tonight. They left 3 on base. Went 0 for 9 with runners on base, 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. It was just a good job from State when runners did get on for Ole Miss tonight. Talk about what you saw from let's keep it on the Ole Miss offense side of things, Zach.
Keep it on the Ole Miss. I mean, it starts with the pitching. When Chafin's able to control the zone, control what the batters are able to get their bats on, it makes the rest of your defense's job easy. But defense did a good job. Morgan Stiles especially did a good job of bouncing back from that sort of mistimed grounder, and then she got lucky with that runner left early, sort of dropped pop-up, but just doing a good job that when it matters to bounce back, support your pitcher, and make sure that Ole Miss isn't able to do anything.
Yeah, State's defense did a good job. I thought Ole Miss did a good job, especially early. They had two hits in the first 2 innings, one in each, one in the first, one in the second. But those were both the first hits of the inning, and they definitely put some pressure on Mississippi State. Obviously put pressure on State in the top half of the fourth. State was able to respond and score 1 run in the bottom of the fourth, but that home run in the top of the fourth by Benford put some pressure on Mississippi State. So I think, and then in the top of the seventh, right, Ole Miss got a runner in scoring position. It was Pickens with a double with 1 out in the inning, and then you talked about State's defensive resilience tonight was one of the main reasons State won the game. And but the main thing I'll say about Ole Miss is I think they did a good job tonight of putting pressure on Mississippi State. Just luckily for Mississippi State, luckily for us, and luckily for State fans everywhere, it was not enough as State won it 3-1. We'll talk about the offensive output from Mississippi State now. There was 4 hits for the Bulldogs tonight, so a relatively quiet night if you just kind of think about how they've been all season long. They were still able to win, though, which is great, and it's all credit, especially to Raylan Chafin. But 4 hits for Mississippi State tonight. Those hits were from Jesse Blaine, Ella Wesolowski, and 2 by Kiara Sells. So Jesse Blaine with a hit, obviously the walk-off home run, and then Ella Wesolowski with a hit, and Kiara Sells with 2 hits. And that is who got the hits tonight for Mississippi State. State with 1 run in the fourth and 2 in the seventh to win the game. No runs in any other inning. They went 3 runs on 4 hits, no errors. They left 9 on base. State 333 with 2 outs. I wanted to read with runners on and runners in scoring position. State 182 with runners in scoring or runners on, and 0 for with runners in scoring position. 0 for 5. So as good as as State was with getting on base, because they drew a lot of walks tonight too, as good as they were with that, let's kind of talk about what State needs to do to prepare for the rest of the series, and I think that's going to start with being better with runners on and runners in scoring position.
Well, I mean, the fact that you left 9 on and you only had, 4 hits throughout the entire game, that in itself is phenomenal. You were patient in the box. I mean, how many walks did Ole Miss have? They had 7.
7 walks. I think 1 or 2 hit by pitches tonight.
So most of your runners on were from walks.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're not able to do anything, as you said, you've got to figure out how can you balance out getting runners on, whether it's walks, hits, and then getting the actual hits and advancing those runners.
Yeah, so State definitely going to have to, clean up being, with runners on and runners in scoring position. You got one more thought, Zach?
Yeah, and I will say most of these, runners are on. They're getting on with 2 outs. You've got to get on earlier with no outs or 1 out, because when you have 2 outs, it's harder to do something with them on. So how can we get batters on earlier?
I agree with you, and something to boot with that. State leadoff hitters 0 for 7 tonight. You usually don't see that. It's usually State starting things off hot in innings, starting things off hot in the beginning of the ball game. It took them a while to get going in the ball game. They only had, I think, 1 hit through the first 2 innings, so you usually don't see that. State usually scores a lot of their runs, through the first 2 innings. That's been one of their strong points this year. But yeah, like you said, got to get things going earlier in the inning. I mean, 0 for 7, right? Every inning you're starting with 1 out before you can even blink. So got to be better. Yeah, it's a good point by you. Got to be better with leadoff hitters. If you had to, crown somebody the player of the game tonight, who would you crown player of the game for tonight's ball game?
Well, for me, it's a close one. It's a lot closer than I feel like it should be, but the edge is going to go to Jesse Blaine because of the walk-off. I mean, that in itself, full count, 2 outs, runner on, the fact you're able to do damage and get the victory, for me, that's enough to give you the player of the game. I'd say the next close would be Raylan Chafin just from her dominance.
Yeah, Jesse Blaine, like you said, 1 for 3 with the walk-off home run, but also reached base with a walk as well. So reached base twice out of 4 plate appearances tonight. But like you said, if it wasn't her, it would be Raylan Chafin, who pitched absolutely fantastic tonight. Excuse me. Now at 21-7, but went for another complete game. 6 hits, only 1 run, 5 strikeouts, and 25 Ole Miss batters faced, and threw 102 pitches. That ERA now is at 2.38 on the season, but she is just. Yeah, tonight was a huge night for her, and over these last 2 series is now talking about the Ole Miss and the Kentucky series. Has only allowed 3 runs in the past 3 games she has pitched.
Well, this wasn't even an earned run, or was it earned?
It was earned. It was a
earned.
home
Okay.
run. Home
My
run.
fault. Yeah, that's right. But the fact that
only 3 earned runs in the past 3 ball games. I mean, that is fantastic. She has been very, very good for Mississippi State over these last 2 series, and you might not see her tomorrow. I doubt it. I doubt you'd see her tomorrow or game 2, whenever that will be. You'll probably see Delaney Everett, but you're definitely going to see her again, probably starting game 3, whenever that may be.
Only reason I think you would see her game 2 would be things aren't going the Bulldogs' way pitching-wise, which, I mean, based off of how the past 2 series went, could be a possibility, but I think I agree with you. If the Bulldogs can keep it up, and as we talked about in the pregame, get that backcourt pitching, Delaney Everett, Josie Marin, Sarah Phillips, whoever it may be, then we won't see her till game 3.
Yeah, I think, I was just about to say that. What we talked about pregame is going to apply to game 2. How does pitching outside of Raylan Chafin work out for Mississippi State? Can Delaney Everett start tomorrow's game? Because I'm sure she's going to get the start tomorrow. Can she start tomorrow's game strong? Can Lexi Sosa or Josie Marin come in relief tomorrow and fill the void if there's any innings left to be had in the ball game if Everett doesn't go a complete game? Our point that we talked about in the pregame is didn't have to apply tonight because Raylan Chafin did so good again. It's going to apply tomorrow, and we might repeat that tomorrow and might say that tomorrow, but right before game 2. But State definitely got to see some good pitching outside of Chafin in game 2, and hopefully we will. But any last thoughts from you, Zach, about what you saw tonight in this 3-1 Bulldog win?
No, I think that's it. I mean, it was a fun game to call, and tomorrow and Saturday or whenever game 2 and 3 are, it's going to be very interesting and fun to watch, and hope we get the fans back out here, and because when you have lots of fans, you help pump up the crowd, and hope the Bulldogs can get the victory and host some more games later on. Yeah,
that was definitely a big factor. Was the fans? The fans were rowdy tonight here. Pretty heavy capacity here of Bulldog fans, and they were sure heard tonight here to start Super Bulldog weekend in Starkville. But Mississippi State wins 3-1 over Ole Miss. You'll have the Bulldog Student Sports Network will have games 2 and 3 whenever those may be. Could get some rain here tomorrow in Starkville, so maybe have to get pushed to another doubleheader for this Bulldog softball team. It seems like they played a doubleheader every SEC series weekend, but that could be the case. Maybe the rain will stay away, maybe not. We'll see how it goes, but regardless, the BSSN will have games 2 and games 3 for you whenever they may be. You also have baseball playing this weekend at the Dude. If you're not able to make it to softball, if you're planning on going to baseball, maybe just turn us on while you're watching the baseball game and keep up with Bulldog softball. But baseball host Kentucky this weekend, and then Cotton District will be lively this weekend as well with the Wiener Dog race happening on Saturday. Also, men's tennis hosting an NCAA regional just a couple feet behind us tomorrow, so that should be fun for them. Men's tennis has had a good season this year, so looking forward to see how they do in the NCAA tournament. That's all you got going on for Mississippi State athletics. But be sure to follow us on Instagram, at Bulldog Student Sports Network. Be sure to follow us on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, BSSN_MSU, and be sure to subscribe to us here on our YouTube channel. And then click that bell. I always say it's like ringing a cowbell. If you are a Mississippi State fan, if you click that bell, you'll be able to see whenever we are live and tune right in so you can listen to Mississippi State athletics. But it was a pleasure broadcasting this game to you tonight, and even more of a pleasure because we won the ball game 3-1 tonight in walk-off fashion. But for Zach Sizemore, my color commentator, I was your play-by-play Ty Goldman. It's been a heck of a night here in Starkville, and appreciate you all tuning in and listening to us here on the Bulldog Student Sports Network. Your final score, Ole Miss 1, Mississippi State 3. You can wrap this one in maroon and white. So long, Hail State, and have a good night.